You are a badass. How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. You can start out with nothing, and out of nothing, and out of no way, a way will be made. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. I used to think quotes like that were a bunch of crap. I mean, what does that even mean? And why does anyone believe this stuff? I was too cool to care. The little I knew about the self-help world reeked of desperation, cheesy motivation, and unwanted hugs from people who smiled too much. And let's not even talk about my grouchy attitude toward God. But here's the thing. There was a lot about my life I desperately wanted to change. Sure, I was doing okay. I'd published a couple of books, had great friends, a car that ran, and food in the fridge. Compared to most of the planet, my life was a cream puff. But compared to what I knew I was capable of, let's just say I wasn't impressed. I mean, come on. Was I seriously going to spend another year just scraping by, paying rent, stressing about money, and dating weirdos who brought more drama than joy? And how many times was I going to spiral into the same soul-searching funk, wondering what the hell I was doing with my life? Snore. And deep down, I knew I was capable of so much more. I had this nagging feeling that I was a rock star in hiding. I knew I had the power to create something amazing, to love big, to live fully, and to crush it in life. And yet, there I was stuck, eating dollar tacos, alone. And now here you are. Maybe parts of your life feel a little stuck too. Maybe you've got some great things going, but there's a part of you that's quietly screaming for more. This isn't about making millions or saving the world, unless that's your thing. It's about getting crystal clear on what makes you happy and going after it, unapologetically. It's about deciding to show up as the biggest, boldest, most badass version of yourself. The good news? All it takes is one shift, one simple decision. You have to stop wanting to change your life and decide to change your life. Wanting is passive. Deciding is active. Wanting happens on the couch with a travel magazine in your lap. Deciding happens when you jump in, full throttle, and go after your dreams with everything you've got. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to do things you never thought you would. You're going to have to push past fear, fail, and then fail again. You're going to have to let go of old beliefs and hold tight to the idea that you can have the life you want. Because guess what? Your life depends on it. You don't have to wait for rock bottom to start climbing. You don't need a disaster to wake up. All you need is this moment. Right here, right now. The poet Anais Nin said it best. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. That's where I was. And maybe that's where you are now. This book is going to help you wake up. It's going to push you, challenge you, and help you start creating the life you've always wanted. Because you're here to be a badass. Part 1. How you got this way. Before we dive into the badassery of creating a life you love, let's take a moment to unpack how you ended up where you are right now. Maybe you're cruising through life, but it doesn't feel quite as awesome as it could. Or maybe you're stuck in a rut so deep you can barely see daylight. Wherever you are, Part 1 is here to help you figure out what's holding you back. This section takes a closer look at the beliefs, behaviors, and subconscious programming that have shaped your reality. Because before you can rewrite your story, you need to understand the old script. Chapter 1. My subconscious made me do it. You are a victim of the rules you live by. Jenny Halser, let me tell you about the time I learned just how serious the bowling community is about their rules. It was the final shot of a heated tiebreaker. I was determined to make it memorable, so I leaped into action with flair, loudly declaring my victory as I danced and twirled my way through my approach. But in my dramatic display, I failed to notice that my feet had slid over the line and onto the oiled surface of the lane. The next thing I knew, my feet flew out from under me, and my back slammed onto the lane with a force that would have shattered lesser beings, or at least bowling pins. Apparently, the oil on those lanes is no joke. Weeks later, I found myself explaining this little incident to a guy I'd met at Macy's while we were lying in bed. I told him how the fall had left me with nerve pain that jolted me awake every night. My acupuncturist said I needed a firmer mattress to fix it. His response, "I have pains in my feet when I sleep too," he said, raising his hand for an unreciprocated high five. It wasn't just that I'm not into high fives. I left him hanging because I was annoyed. What did this have to do with my bowling fiasco? And as if mattress shopping isn't awkward enough, this guy had to lie next to me on every bed, chatting away like we were at summer camp. What did I do? I didn't ask him to move. I didn't find another salesman. I just left, too polite or too programmed to say anything. And that, dear listener, is how my family was trained to handle discomfort. Freeze, deflect, or burst into tears after the fact. It's not your fault if you're messed up. It's your fault if you stay messed up. When you were born, you were pure potential. A screaming, joyful little bundle of instincts, incapable of doing anything but living in the moment. You didn't know to be ashamed of your body or to worry about your place in the world. Everything just was. But then, as you grew, the people around you began filling you up with their beliefs about how things should be. They told you what was safe, what was important, and how you were supposed to act. Some of it was helpful, don't run into traffic, for example. But a lot of it was just their own baggage handed down to you. Things like, money is hard to come by. You're not good enough. You shouldn't want too much. Love always leads to heartbreak. These beliefs came from your parents, your teachers, and society at large. They were passed down from generation to generation, not because they were true, but because they were what they knew. And so, your subconscious mind soaked it all up like a sponge. It didn't filter or question any of it, it just accepted it as fact. The problem is, most of these beliefs aren't actually true. They're stories. Stories that have nothing to do with who you are or what you're capable of. But they run your life anyway, silently dictating your choices and holding you back from what you really want. I know this might make it sound like we're all crazy, and honestly, we kind of are. Most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs, until they wake up, which is what this book will hopefully help you do. Here's how it works. We, as humans, have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Most of us are only aware of our conscious minds because that's where we process all our information. It's where we figure things out, judge, obsess, analyze, criticize, and worry that our ears are too big. It's where we decide once and for all to stop eating fried food, grasp that 2 + 2 is equal to 4, and try to remember where the hell we left the car keys. The conscious mind is like a relentless overachiever, incessantly spinning from thought to thought, stopping only when we sleep, and then starting up again the second we open our eyes. Our conscious mind, also known as our frontal lobe, doesn't fully develop until sometime around puberty. Our subconscious mind, on the other hand, is the non-analytical part of our brain that's fully developed the moment we arrive on Earth. It's all about feelings and instincts and erupting into ear-piercing temper tantrums in the middle of supermarkets. It's also where we store all the early outside information we get. The subconscious mind believes everything because it has no filter. It doesn't know the difference between what's true and what's not true. If our parents tell us that nobody in our family knows how to make money, we believe them. If they show us that marriage means punching each other in the face, we believe them. We even believe them when they tell us that some fat guy in a red suit is going to climb down the chimney and bring us presents. Why wouldn't we believe any of the other garbage they feed us? Our subconscious mind is like a little kid who doesn't know any better and, not coincidentally, receives most of its information when we're little kids and don't know any better because our frontal lobes, the conscious part of our brains, haven't fully formed yet. We take in information via the words, smiles, frowns, heavy sighs, raised eyebrows, tears, laughter, and everything else from the people surrounding us. And all of it gets lodged in our squishy little subconscious minds as the truth, otherwise known as our beliefs, where it lives, undisturbed and unanalyzed, until we're on the therapy couch decades later or checking ourselves into rehab. Again, I can pretty much guarantee that every time you tearfully ask yourself, WTF is my problem? The answer lies in some lame, limiting, and false subconscious belief that you've been dragging around without even realizing it. So let's review, shall we? 1. Our subconscious mind contains the blueprint for our lives. It's running the show based on the unfiltered information it gathered when we were kids, otherwise known as our beliefs. 2. We are, for the most part, completely oblivious to these subconscious beliefs that run our lives. 3. When our conscious minds finally develop and show up for work, no matter how big and smart and highfalutin they grow to be, They're still being controlled by the beliefs we're carrying around in our subconscious minds. Our conscious mind thinks it's in control, but it isn't. Our subconscious mind doesn't think about anything, but it is in control. This is why so many of us stumble through life, doing everything we know in our conscious minds to do, yet remain mystified by what's keeping us from creating the excellent lives we want. For example, let's say you were raised by a father who was constantly struggling financially, who walked around kicking the furniture and grumbling about how money doesn't grow on trees, and who neglected you because he was always off trying and mostly failing to make a living. Your subconscious took this in at face value and might have developed beliefs such as, money equals struggle. Money is unavailable. It's money's fault that I was abandoned by my father. Money sucks and causes pain. Cut to you as an adult who, in your conscious mind, would love nothing more than to be rolling in the dough. But your subconscious mind is mistrusting of money, believes it's unavailable to you, and worries that if you make it, you'll be abandoned by someone you love. You may then manifest these subconscious beliefs by staying broke no matter how hard you consciously try to make money, or by repeatedly making tons of money and then losing it in order to avoid being abandoned, or in a plethora of other frustrating ways. No matter what you say you want, if you've got an underlying subconscious belief that it's going to cause you pain or isn't available to you, you either A, won't let yourself have it, or B, you will let yourself have it, but you'll be so messed up about it that you'll lose it anyway. We don't realize that by eating that fourth donut, or by ignoring our intuition and marrying that guy who's an awful lot like our low-down cheatin' daddy, we're being driven by our subconscious minds, not our conscious ones. And when our subconscious beliefs are out of alignment with the things and experiences we want in our conscious minds, it creates confusing conflicts between what we're trying to create and what we're actually creating. It's like driving with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. Here are some scenarios that may or may not ring a bell. Conscious mind. I long to find and marry my soulmate. Subconscious mind. Intimacy leads to pain and suffering. Finger. Ringless. Conscious mind. I want to lose 25 pounds. Subconscious mind. People aren't safe. I must build a shield to protect myself. Body. A fortress of flab. Conscious mind. I'm hot and sexy and want to get it on. Subconscious mind. Physical pleasure is shameful. Sex life yawn. Conscious mind. I want to travel the world. Subconscious mind. Fun equals irresponsible equals I won't be loved. Passport. Blank. It's sort of like not being able to enjoy sitting on your front porch because it reeks of something foul out there. You can come up with all these brilliant ways to deal with the problem, light incense, set up fans, blame it on the dog, but until you realize something has crawled under your house and died, your problems will linger on, stinking up your life.
Welcome to a channel designed to transform your wasted time into something truly valuable. Here, every minute spent listening can be a step toward learning, growth, and self-discovery. Imagine using those pockets of time when you're working out, driving, cooking, or just waiting to dive into books that have left a profound impact on my life. These aren't just self-help titles, but a wide range of books, from classics to hidden gems, each one offering unique insights and lessons that changed me in some way or even saved me when I needed it most. I'm Parsa, and I created this channel as a personal archive of books that have been part of my journey. You'll find both well-known works and rare treasures I've stumbled upon, some summarized with the key details and spirit intact, and others in their entirety when copyright allows. I know from experience that even a few minutes of listening each day can make a difference. So wherever you are, let's make those spare moments count. Hit play and let's start exploring together.
Chapter 2. The G word. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. When I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, my friends and I used to hang out at this western bar called Midnight Rodeo. It was the kind of place that had curling irons and hairspray in the women's bathroom, Bud Light on permanent special for $2 a can, and a solid oak dance floor the size of a cornfield. We were all from the East Coast and way too cool for country music, so at first we went just to snootily make fun of it all. We took great pride in being the first to spot a particularly gigantic belt buckle or a cowboy sporting a handlebar mustache big enough to cover 5 upper lips. But our favorite part? The line dancing. We'd stare, mesmerized, at the giant choreographed mass of Garth Brooks fans stomping around in synchronized woo-hooery, with their thumbs purposefully tucked into the front pockets of their jeans. It was hilarious. And then, we started joining in ourselves, waving from the middle of the sea of cowboy hats to our friends. Watch this. We'd stay on the floor for the next song, just to nail that part where you click your heels right before the spin. And before we knew it, we were sneaking off every weekend to merrily line dance our little achy-breaky hearts out. This is sort of how the God thing happened for me. It started out with snarkiness and eye-rolling, but I was so broke, so clueless, and so sick of being such a weenie about really going for it in my life that I was open to suggestions. That's why, when I started reading books on finding your calling, making money, and getting over yourself, and they all had a spiritual side to them, I didn't toss them in the goodwill pile. Instead, I decided to give good old God a chance. I had nothing to lose, literally. And lo and behold, some of it wasn't totally idiotic. So I started reading more about it. Then I started studying it. Then I started putting it into practice. Then I noticed how much better it made me feel. Then I started believing it. Then I noticed all these awesome shifts happening in my life. Then I became obsessed with it. Then I started loving it. Then I radically changed my life with it. Then I started teaching it. Now, I'm basically riding the mechanical bull about it, punching my fist in the air and hollering to the guy manning the controls. Hit it, Wayne! Wherever you stand on the God issue, let me just say this: improving your life is going to be much easier if you have an open mind about it. Call it whatever you want: God, Goddess, the universe, source energy, higher power, the grand Puba, spirit, the force, the zone, the Lord, the mother lode, it doesn't matter. Personally, I find the word God to be a tad too loaded. I prefer source energy, the universe, the vortex, or the mother lode. Whatever you call it isn't important. What's important is developing an awareness of, and a relationship with, the source energy that's surrounding you and within you. Because here's the thing: all of us are connected to this limitless power, and most of us aren't using but a fraction of it. Our energy is taking a joy ride in these bodies of ours, learning, growing, and evolving along the way, until our physical journey comes to an end and we move on. This realization that we're made up of, and connected to, source energy, made me want to dive deeper into spirituality to make my physical experience as awesome as possible. Ever since I started connecting with source energy, my life has been awesomeness maximus. When I'm in the flow, I feel more powerful, more in tune with my physical world and the world beyond, and so much happier. The more I meditate and pay attention to this relationship with my invisible superpower, the more effortlessly I manifest what I want, and at such a rapid rate that it makes my hair stand up. It's like I've finally figured out how to make my magic wand work. If loving spirit is wrong, I don't want to be right. The foundation for all the work we're about to do. The universe is made up of source energy. All energy vibrates at a certain frequency. You're vibrating at a certain frequency, and everything you desire is also vibrating at a certain frequency. Vibration attracts like vibration. This is the law of attraction. Focus on what makes you feel good, and you'll attract more of it into your life. We're all attracting energy to ourselves all the time, whether we realize it or not. But when we vibrate at a low frequency, feeling pessimistic, jealous, ashamed, or worried, while expecting high frequency, awesome things to show up, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. You need to raise your frequency to match the vibration of what you want. It's like trying to listen to 105.9 FM slow jams, but tuning in to 89.9 FM National Public Radio instead. You're not only missing the slow jams, but now you're hearing a discussion about immigration laws instead of lighting candles and getting into the mood for love. The universe will match whatever vibration you put out, and you can't fool the universe. When you vibrate at a high frequency, awesome things flow to you effortlessly. Opportunities, people, and ideas seem to fall into your lap. And when you learn to consciously master the energetic realm, believe in the not yet seen, and stay in your highest frequency, you harness your innate power to create the reality you desire. Once again, awareness is key. Once you realize that you can dramatically improve your situation by connecting with source energy and raising your frequency, you can do it already. Because why keep settling for styrofoam cup ramen for dinner or working for someone who makes your flesh crawl when you can choose something so much better? In order to truly raise your vibration, you've got to believe that everything you want is available to you. And the best way to keep this belief strong is by staying connected to source energy. Imagine you're surrounded by a giant, all-you-can-eat buffet of incredible experiences, insights, feelings, opportunities, people, and ways to share your gifts with the world. All you have to do is align your energy with what you want and take decisive action to allow this good into your life. And that decisive action part is absolutely key. Sadly, we can't just float around our neighbor's pool on a raft with cup holders, sipping cocktails, and feeling all high vibe while waiting for unicorns to fly down from the sky. We have to take action, hell-bent for glory kind of action. The trick is to have both parts, energy and action, working in unison. Unless your energy is properly aligned with what you truly desire, any action you take is going to require way more effort to get you where you want to go, if it gets you there at all. Sure, once in a while you might get lucky doing one without the other. But if you get crystal clear on what you really want, not what you think you should want, and believe that it's available to you no matter your current circumstances, you'll start to see magic unfold. Staying connected to source energy, keeping your frequency high, and taking decisive action, those are the steps to eventually succeeding. Have you ever had a dream where you're flying? You're soaring through the air, having the time of your life. But then, suddenly, you realize, wait a minute, I'm flying, I can't fly. And as soon as you think that, you come crashing down to the ground, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to get yourself back up again. That's how beliefs work. Even when something seems impossible, you have to keep the faith anyway. The second you stop believing, you pop the bubble. The magic disappears. The force is with you. But this isn't just about believing and being all high vibe when life is good. The sun is shining, and the bunnies are hopping around. This is about believing even when things are at their absolute crappiest. It's about holding on to the faith that there is a bright, shiny flip side within your reach, even when things feel uncertain or hopeless. As French author and fearless truth seeker André Gide so aptly put it, one does not discover new lands without consenting to lose sight of the shore for a very long time. This is about believing that we live in a loving, kind, and abundant universe, not one that's petty, mean, and prefers other people over you. This is about your faith being greater than your fear. Chapter 4. Present as a pigeon. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu. I was in yoga class one day when the instructor told us to get into pigeon pose. For the uninitiated, pigeon pose is where you stretch one leg out behind you, fold the other out sideways in front of you, and then bend forward to lie down on top of the whole thing. It's great if you're a pigeon. For me, not so much. My hips don't move that way, it hurts, and I'm always terrified I'm going to get stuck. But there I was, determined to relax into it, despite every fiber of my body begging me to stop. Meanwhile, the instructor was talking, and talking, about our connection to the universe, the path to true enlightenment, and oh my God, seriously, will he just stop talking? I was spiraling. My brain was yammering away. Was I going to rip something? Was I actually stuck? Would he have to come lift me out of this pose in front of everyone? And then whoosh, I took a deep breath. I shut off the relentless chatter in my brain and surrendered. My body shifted, melting deeper into the pose than it ever had before. The pain vanished. The panic was gone. I was one with the universe. But then, just as quickly, I was back. My knee felt weird. The instructor was still talking, and my brain had rejoined the party. Seriously, dude, are you going to talk all night? And then, whoosh, I reconnected again. This flip-flopping, freaking out in our heads, then finding our breath and reconnecting, is how most of us go through life. Instead of staying in the moment, I had spent most of that time worrying about the future or stewing about the past. I could have luxuriated in the magnificence of the present. It never ceases to amaze me how much precious time we spend chasing the squirrels in our brains. We're busy playing out our dramas, worrying about unwanted facial hair, seeking validation, complaining about the Wi-Fi speed, and dissecting the lives of idiots, all while sitting in the middle of a full-blown miracle. Right now, at this very moment, we're on a planet that rotates on its axis, follows a defined path through space, and somehow keeps us all alive. Our hearts beat, We see. We have love, laughter, language, music, mountains, muffins, fire, flowers, and so much more. The universe must be wondering, what more do I have to do to wake these people up? Rain down their most precious resource from the sky. The universe loves us so much that sometimes she delivers wake-up calls. You've seen it in movies. Someone narrowly escapes death, and suddenly their problems fall away. They skip through the streets, laughing, hugging strangers, overwhelmed by the sheer miracle of being alive. I know someone who was sucked through a dam and almost died. He now calls it one of the most profound and life-changing experiences of his life. Not that I'm suggesting you need a catastrophe for your transformation, but, the universe can arrange that if necessary. We're also surrounded by perfect teachers. Take animals, for instance. Animals live in the present all the time, and they can pull us in with them. My friend's dog, for example, greets her every time she walks in the door like she's just freed him from 40 years of imprisonment. Even if she's only been gone for an hour, it's pure joy. You're here. I'm here. I love you. I'm gonna pee all over the floor about it. Little kids are also great guides. They get so wrapped up in drawing, pretending, or discovering that they forget to eat, bathe, or sleep unless we make them. They're constantly creating in a state of free-flowing bliss. They don't worry about what other people think, or whether Lucy next door is better at finger painting. They live in the moment. There's fun in the moment. End of story. We would be wise to take more of our cues from the beasts and babies. All the things we're so worried about creating and becoming are already right here, right now. The money you want already exists. The person you want to meet is already alive. The experience you want to have is available. The knowledge, joy, love, and connection you're searching for are wagging their hands in your face, waiting for you to notice. But where is it, you ask? Think of it like electricity. Before the light bulb was invented, most people weren't aware of electricity's existence. It was always here, just as it is now, but we hadn't figured out how to manifest it into our reality. It's not that the things you want don't exist yet. It's that you're not yet aware of their existence, or the fact that you can really have them. The more you practice being present and connected to source energy, the more available you are to ideas and opportunities that you might otherwise miss. There's an old Hindu story about a woman who wanted to meet the god Krishna. She went into the forest, closed her eyes, and meditated on making him appear. And then, lo and behold, Krishna came wandering down the path toward her. But when he tapped her on the shoulder, she told him to get lost because she was too busy meditating on her goal. When we get so wrapped up in our heads, we miss out on what's available to us right now. Stop and notice how you feel at this very moment. Feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Feel the air on your skin, your heart beating, your eyes seeing, and your ears hearing. Notice the energy inside and around you. Shut off your thoughts and feel your connection to source. Breathe. Even if you have bone-chilling credit card debt or haven't spoken to your mother in 6 years. Right now, in this moment, you can find peace and joy in what simply is. As adults, we occasionally need to visit the past to learn from it or the future to plan for it. But the more time we spend chewing on junk food thoughts about what-ifs and how-comes, the less we're present for the miracles happening now. The more time you spend in the moment, the richer your life will be. Being present gets you out of your head and connects you to source energy. It raises your frequency, which attracts experiences of like frequency to you. All those high-frequency things you want are already here, just waiting for you to join the party. All you have to do is shut up, show up, and let them in. Chapter 4. The Big Snooze. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. Kurt Cobain. When I first got into the whole self-help thing, there was a lot of talk about something called the ego. Confused the hell out of me. I always thought the ego was about being conceited and braggy, that guy who can't stop talking about how great he is before flexing his muscles. While arrogance and conceit are part of the ego, I eventually learned they're not the whole story. In the self-help and spiritual communities, the ego refers to your shadow self, your false self, or the self that acts like a weenie. It's the part of you that sabotages your happiness, convinces you not to take risks, and keeps you stuck in behaviors and beliefs that don't serve you. For example, it's the ego that makes someone cheat on their partner because deep down they don't feel worthy of love. It's the ego that stops someone from pursuing their dream career because they're terrified of being truly seen. And yes, it's the ego that goes on and on about how great they are because they're insecure and desperate for outside validation. There are many ways to take an ego trip. From here on out, I'll refer to the ego as the Big Snooze, or BS for short. It's a more fitting name because the Big Snooze is responsible for all the ways we keep ourselves small, stuck, and asleep to our own potential. It's the leading cause of staying broke, dating morons, and crying uncontrollably in public because we hate our lives. The Big Snooze operates according to your limiting, false beliefs. These are the crappy ideas stuffed into your subconscious as a kid and the unflattering or disempowering conclusions you've made about yourself along the way. Here's how the Big Snooze works. It gets validation from outside sources. I'm doing this to win your love. Your opinion of me is more important than my opinion of myself. It's reactive. My circumstances control my life. I am a victim. It's fear-based. It's extremely committed to keeping you safely confined within your comfort zone, even if that comfort zone sucks. The Big Snooze lives in the past and the future. It believes you're separate from everything around you. Your true self, on the other hand, operates according to your connection to source energy. Here's how your true self works. It gets validation from within. I love and trust myself. This feels right to me. I have a purpose. I am loved. It's proactive. It's love-based. It's committed to creating a reality based on your limitless potential. Your true self lives in the present, believes in miracles, and knows it's one with the universe. We all experience life through both perspectives to varying degrees. While no one is totally free of the Big Snooze, most people are so wrapped up in it that they settle for lives far beneath what's truly available to them. But here's the thing. Watching someone else totally go for it can be incredibly upsetting to someone who spent a lifetime building a solid case for why they can't. When you start waking up from the Big Snooze, you might notice that not everyone around you is cheering you on. This disapproval, unfortunately, can often come from the people closest to you. They might react with anger, criticism, or constant reminders of how you're not the way you used to be. They may snort every time you talk about your goals, tease you about your new friends, or furrow their brows over your irresponsible decisions. Surely, are you really going to quit your secure corporate job to open a nail salon? You've got 2 kids, a mortgage, and high blood pressure. Aren't you worried about what will happen if you fail? Of course Shirley is worried. She's panicking about it every night. But she's moving past her fear because the alternative, a slow death by water cooler gossip and stale birthday cake in the conference room, is worse. The thing is, when you start making big changes, the Big Snooze doesn't go quietly. It's like an overprotective Italian mother who doesn't want you to leave the house, let alone go to a party. She'll claw, scream, and do whatever she can to keep you where you are because change terrifies her. And just like quitting smoking or detoxing from sugar, leaving your comfort zone can feel worse before it gets better. You might experience withdrawal, chaos, setbacks, and emotional freakouts. It's not the universe conspiring against you. It's your Big Snooze panicking. When taking great leaps forward, life often turns to shit before it turns to shinola. For example, I had a client who quit his high-paying job to start his dream company from scratch. After making the leap, he got 2 flat tires, his babysitter crashed into his wife's car, a water main exploded under his kitchen, and then, just before his first big deal went through, he got hit by a bus. But he didn't give up. Today, he's his own boss, traveling the world, living his dream, and inspiring his kids to live with purpose. Another client, a record producer, spent all her money building her dream studio, only to have it burn down immediately after completion. Instead of giving up, she rebuilt it even better, and now she handpicks her projects and lives her fantasy life. The Big Snooze will throw everything it can at you to keep you from changing. It'll set up emotional blocks, physical setbacks, and whatever chaos it takes to make you say, screw it, you win. But growth ain't for weenies. No matter how tough it gets, stay the course. Have faith that your new life is already here, waiting for you, and that it's far better than the one you're leaving behind. Whatever happens, don't give up. The coolest thing in the world is watching your entire reality shift into one that's the perfect expression of you. Chapter 5. Self-perception is a zoo. I'm okay. I'm not okay. The title of my friend Cynthia's yet-to-be-written autobiography, I have a friend who's a professional speaker. She's the kind of person who's so articulate, so powerful and captivating, that even if she were ordering a burrito, I'd probably get all teary-eyed. That's right. No refried beans. You heard the woman. So imagine my surprise when, after one of her talks, she plopped down next to me and demanded to know how boring it was. I also have gorgeous friends who think they're hideous, brilliant clients who one moment think they're God's gift to mankind and the next need to be talked off the ledge of self-proclaimed ineptitude, and an entrepreneurial neighbor who can't decide if she's a financial powerhouse or about to make her family start living under a bridge. Self-perception is a zoo. We spend our lives drifting between glimpses of our infinite glory and the fear that we're totally incapable, unworthy, lazy, or horrible. Worse, we're convinced it's only a matter of time before someone blows the whistle on us. We torture ourselves incessantly. And for what? If we can glimpse the glory, why waste precious time feeding the other options? Wouldn't life be so much more fun, productive, and sexy if we fully embraced our magnificently delightful selves? It's just as easy to believe we're awesome as it is to believe we're giant sucking things. It takes the same amount of energy, the same amount of focus. So why do we choose the drama? Have you ever noticed how, when someone you admire does something phenomenal, you're happy for them but not surprised? Of course they did something phenomenal. They're a phenomenal person. But when it comes to seeing your own amazingness, it's like trying to push a giant marshmallow up a hill. Yes, there we go, we're up. We're awesome. Oh, wait. Now we're sagging on the left. Push it back up. There we go. Now we're sagging on the right. We take one step forward and 14 steps back when it's completely unnecessary. Instead, try seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who admires you. They get it. They believe in you without a shred of doubt. They aren't weighed down by your insecurities or negative beliefs about yourself. All they see is your true glory and potential. Become one of your own die-hard fans. Look at yourself from the outside, where your self-doubts can't crawl all over you, and behold what shines through. You get to choose how you perceive your reality. So why, when it comes to perceiving yourself, would you choose anything other than seeing a super huge rock star of a creature? You are a badass. You were one when you came screaming onto this planet, and you are one now. The universe wouldn't have bothered with you otherwise. You can't screw up so majorly that your badassery disappears. This is who you are. This is who you've always been. And it's not up for negotiation. You are loved. Massively. Ferociously. Unconditionally. The universe is totally freaking out about how awesome you are. It's got you wrapped in a warm gorilla hug of adoration. It wants to give you everything you desire. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to see what it sees in you. You are perfect. To think anything less is as pointless as a river thinking it has too many curves, or that it moves too slowly, or that its rapids are too rapid. Says who? You're on a journey with no defined beginning, middle, or end. There are no wrong twists and turns. There is just being. And your job is to be as you can be. This is why you're here. To shy away from who you truly are would leave the world you less. You are the only you there is and ever will be. I repeat, you are the only you there is and ever will be. Do not deny the world its one and only chance to bask in your brilliance. We are all perfect in our own magnificent, messed up ways. Laugh at yourself. Love yourself and others. Rejoice in the cosmic ridiculousness. Part 2. How to embrace your inner badass. You've made it this far, which means you're ready to dive even deeper into unleashing the badass that's been lurking inside you all along. Part 1 helped you wake up to the beliefs and patterns that have been holding you back. Now, in Part 2, it's time to learn how to embrace who you truly are unapologetically. This section is about falling in love with yourself. Not in the "I'm the greatest human ever, bow down before me" kind of way, but in the deep, authentic, life-changing kind of way. Because here's the truth. Everything you want, love, success, happiness, confidence, starts with self-love. The chapters ahead will give you the tools to shift your perspective, stop playing small, and finally become the badass you were born to be. Chapter 6. Love the One You is, if we really love ourselves, everything in our life works. Louise. Hey, I was hanging out at my brother Bobby's house one day, lounging on the couch and watching his then 2-year-old son waddle around. At one point, someone knocked something off the coffee table, and my little nephew bent down to pick it up. Bobby turned to me and said, "Did you see that? The guy knows exactly how it's done. He bends at the knees, keeps his back straight, hips squared, stomach tight, flawless." Thrilled to have such a willing and skilled exhibitor, Bobby spent the next few minutes dropping random things on the floor. A spoon, a TV remote, an empty beer can. My nephew, in perfect form, picked up each item as Bobby narrated his technique. Posture, muscle usage, focus, and the great dignity with which he performed, even with his diaper sagging. "It's incredible," Bobby said. "The kid could flip over a car without straining his back. I can barely pull up my pants without ending up in the hospital." It's true. When we're born, we come equipped with an instinctual understanding of life's most important basics. And that goes well beyond bending at the knees to pick something up. We're born knowing how to trust our instincts, breathe deeply, eat only when we're hungry, and sing, dance, and create without caring what anyone thinks. We love without holding back. Then, as we grow and learn from the people around us, we replace these primal understandings with fear, shame, self-doubt, and negative beliefs. Eventually, we wind up in emotional or physical pain. And then we have 3 choices. Numb that pain with drugs, booze, TV, sex, or Cheetos. Settle for mediocrity. Or rise to the occasion. Remember how mighty we truly are, and set out to relearn everything we knew when we came into this world. It's like we're born with a big bag of money, more than enough to fund any dream we have. But instead of following our instincts and hearts, we invest in what others tell us to. Some people invest in believing they're too old to go out dancing, even though they love it more than anything. Others invest in being tough and too cool for school, when all they really want is love and connection. Some invest in being ashamed of their sexuality instead of embracing their gloriously authentic selves. The more we invest in things that aren't true for us, the more our inner fortune dwindles. It's not until we reconnect with who we truly are and start investing in what's real for us that we begin to live rich, full, authentic lives. The biggest way we rip ourselves off of all the ways we cheat ourselves, one stands out as the most rampant and devastating of all. We invest everything we've got in believing we're not good enough. We arrive on this planet as perfect little bundles of joy. And then, almost immediately, we set about the ridiculous task of unloving ourselves. Self-love, the simplest, most powerful thing ever, flies right out the window as soon as we start taking in outside information. I'm not talking about conceit or narcissism. Those also stem from fear and a lack of self-love. I'm talking about a deep connection with our highest selves and an unshakable ability to forgive our lowest. I'm talking about loving ourselves enough to let go of guilt, resentment, and criticism, and embrace compassion, joy, and gratitude. When we're happy and in love with ourselves, we can't be bothered with the bullshit, our own or anyone else's. Imagine a world where everyone loved themselves so much they weren't threatened by other people's opinions, skin colors, talents, sexual preferences, or religious beliefs. Imagine waking up every morning certain of your own lovability and your critically important role on this planet. Imagine letting go of shame, guilt, and self-doubt, and allowing yourself to be, do, and have everything your heart desires. That's the kind of world I want to live in. How to win yourself over again. 1. Appreciate how special you are. There will never be another you. You were given unique gifts and talents to share with the world. And even though everyone has their own gifts, no one will use theirs quite the way you do. Your perspective, your thoughts, your way of being in the world are all uniquely yours. You're kind of a big deal. 2. Drown yourself in affirmations. Okay, I get it, affirmations can sound cheesy, but they work. You don't have to say them in the mirror or write them in a rainbow journal with a lock on it. But if you want to rewire your brain and train it to think differently, affirmations are a powerful tool. Here's how. Pick affirmations that resonate with you and repeat them all day long. In your head, in the car, under your breath at the DMV. Write them on post-it notes and stick them around your house, on your mirrors, in your fridge, or in your car. Say them out loud, or write them down 10 times every morning and night. Here are a few affirmations to get you started. I deserve and receive massive amounts of love every moment of every day. I am one with the universe. The universe is awesome, and so am I. My heart is open. Love pours in and out. I am brilliant, bright, and beautiful. If none of these work for you, come up with your own. The more emotion you feel around what you're saying, the more power it will have. At first, it might feel like you're lying to yourself. But here's the thing. If you're not loving yourself, you're already living the lie. Affirmations are what bring you back to the truth. And remember, this isn't about rattling off empty nonsense. You have to feel it, want it, and get worked up about it for it to work. 3. Do things you love. When you constantly deny yourself the people, activities, and experiences that make you feel the most alive, you're sending a pretty lousy message to yourself. Take a look at your life and notice where you're letting yourself down. If you hear yourself saying things like, I love going out to see live music, I can't remember the last time I did it, then it's time to make it happen. We're all busy, but the people who make enjoying their lives a priority are the ones who, you guessed it, enjoy their lives. Right now, there are thousands of people around the world at yoga retreats overlooking the ocean, dancing their hearts out at music festivals, or living it up on the Disney cruise of their dreams. Pay attention to what you say and do, and make a conscious effort to add more joy to your life. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be spending a weekday afternoon with a great friend, buying an impractical yet fabulous pair of shoes, or going on a surf vacation in Costa Rica. The key is to be proactive about creating a life you love instead of meekly settling for the one you think you're stuck with. Give yourself the gift of a joyous life while you're still here to live it. And if you're someone who puts everyone else's needs ahead of your own, start putting yourself first. Those who are used to you being their personal assistant might grumble at first, but they'll still love you, even if they have to clean the cat box themselves. Take care of yourself as if you're the most awesome person you've ever met. 4. Find a replacement. We've gotten so used to negative, knee-jerk reactions toward ourselves that we never stop to question them. They feel like the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But once you become aware of these thought patterns, you can consciously change them. Start paying attention to the internal dialogue that plays in your head. What do you think when you look in the mirror? How do you feel when you see someone succeeding at something you've always wanted to try? What's your reaction when you mess up, fail, or get rejected? Notice the self-talk that arises when you're being hardest on yourself, and consciously replace it with something new and improved. For example, if your first thought when you look in the mirror is, yikes, change it to, hi, gorgeous. If you beat yourself up over a comment to your complicated father, replace I'm a monster with, I'm just a little bunny working through my issues. Then apologize if needed. If your response to screwing up is, her royal clumsiness strikes again, change it to, what can I learn from this? The goal is to free yourself from the drama and the belief that your current self-perception is the truth. One day, you might see someone owning a unique feature you used to feel insecure about, a nose bigger than yours, a cavia figure, a bold hairstyle, and realize how ridiculous it is to cling to those insulting decisions you made about yourself. Do not spend your life clinging to old, unkind beliefs about yourself. Choose to replace them with new ones that reflect how truly awesome you are. 5. Ditch the self-deprecating humor. Incessant self-deprecating humor might get laughs, but it's a cheap way to be funny, and, over time, it's destructive. I get it. Self-deprecating jokes can be hilarious, and I'm guilty of making them myself. But if it becomes your go-to shtick, you're essentially telling everyone that you're a loser. Why would you do that to your awesome self? What you tell yourself on a daily basis is more powerful than you realize. Those seemingly harmless jokes eventually turn into beliefs, and beliefs shape your actions, habits, and reality. If your favorite joke is, I couldn't get a date if I demanded one at gunpoint, and you're spending every Saturday night alone, maybe it's time for a new one-liner. More importantly, find a new way to connect with people. Push yourself to write a new script, one that reflects your brilliance instead of undermining it. 6. Let the love I am learn to receive compliments gracefully. Instead of deflecting with a self-deprecating comment like, "Oh, this old thing," try saying "thank you," period, and take care of your body. Too often, we treat our bodies as an afterthought, ignoring their needs in favor of more important things. "I've got 5 meetings today," we say. "I'll do yoga tomorrow and grab a power bar for lunch." But during our time here on Earth, we need our bodies more than they need us. Say nice things about your body. Dress it up. Take it out. Give it hot sex, luxurious baths, and massages. Move it, stretch it, nourish it, and hydrate it. The better your body feels, the happier and more productive you'll be. 7. Don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the fastest way to take all the fun out of life. It's none of your business what other people are doing. All that matters is that you're enjoying yourself and proud of what you're creating. Your uniqueness is what makes you awesome. Deciding that someone else's uniqueness is better than yours is a betrayal of yourself. Can you imagine if our heroes fell into this trap? If Marilyn Monroe compared herself to Kate Moss and thought she needed to lose her curves? Or if Led Zeppelin decided they weren't as good as Mozart and ditched their drummer in favor of harps? You are more than enough. Avoid comparison like the plague. 8. Forgive yourself. Listen up. This one is important. You've screwed up in the past and you'll screw up again. That's life. Every human is born with the ability to make spectacular mistakes. Carrying guilt and self-criticism doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you a sadder one. Here's a truth to hold on to. Guilt, shame, and self-criticism are some of the most destructive forces in your life. Forgiving yourself is one of the most powerful. Think of something you feel bad about. Call it to mind and repeat this to yourself. Holding on to my bad feelings about this is doing nothing but harming me and preventing me from enjoying my life fully. I am an awesome person. I choose to enjoy my life. I choose to let this go. Repeat it until you feel free. 9. Love yourself because it's the holy grail of happiness. Chapter 7. What other people think of you is none of your business. I'm not offended by all the dumb blonde jokes because I know I'm not dumb. I also know I'm not blonde. Dolly Parton, a friend of mine, a brilliant writer, once called me in a panic. She'd become frozen with fear over the subject of the book she was writing and could no longer bring herself to continue. Her book was, among many other splendid things, very personal, dark, and twisted. She worried it was too much, that it crossed some imaginary line, that it exposed her as a giant, weirdo, pervert freak. This brings up something so important, something you absolutely must grasp if you're ever going to get anywhere near reaching your full potential. Whether you're a writer, artist, businessperson, parent, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, or just a fully realized human being, do not waste your precious time giving one single crap about what anybody else thinks of you. Just imagine how liberating that would be. For most of us, other people's opinions dictate nearly every move we make in our teens and 20s. As we get older and hopefully wiser, we start to care less. But the truth is, very few of us manage to fully escape the pointless grip of worrying about what others think. Meanwhile, the only questions you ever need to ask yourself when making decisions about your life are: 1. Is this something I want to be, do, or have? 2. Will this take me in the direction I want to go? 3. Is this going to screw over anybody else in the process? When we live in fear of what others might think, instead of celebrating who we truly are, we throw a wet blanket of ho-hummery over our lives. Yes, it's part of our survival instinct to care what others think. After all, being booted from the tribe once meant freezing, starving, or being eaten by wolves. But we've evolved. Today, if you get kicked out of one tribe, you can start or find another tribe, one that actually gets you. In fact, if you let your true self shine and step away from the herd, you may find yourself surrounded by people you adore, doing work you love. And one day, you might not even remember the names of the people whose approval you once thought you couldn't live without. Nobody who ever accomplished anything big, bold, or worth celebrating did it from their comfort zone. They risked ridicule, failure, and sometimes even death. Take the Wright brothers, for example. Imagine how that went down. Scene: the tapioca pudding gossip society. Margaret Did you hear about poor Susan? Ruth. Susan Wright? Helen. Such a disgrace. Poor thing. Ruth. What happened? Margaret. Her sons. Helen. As if she hasn't suffered enough. Birthing 2 boys as big as buffaloes, and now this. Margaret. Her sons think they can. Well, they think they can fly. Ruth. Fly? As in, like a bird? Helen. She just had the house painted, too. They'll probably have to move out of town. Once you step away from the herd and show your true self, you'll probably find yourself in front of the opinion firing squad. This is especially true if what you want to do is extraordinary or outside everyone else's comfort zones. That's why so many people run screaming from the lives they'd love to live. Merely allowing yourself to be seen is a risk. I mean, look at how we treat celebrities. Every move they make is picked apart, discussed, judged, and photographed, often without makeup on. The fact that only half of them spend time in rehab is honestly impressive. You are responsible for what you say and do. You are not responsible for whether or not people freak out about it. Take this example: 2 people walk out of the same movie. One is clinging to the walls, bloodshot and devastated, leaving a trail of tissues, convinced it's the most moving film in the history of cinema. The other marches straight to the ticket counter, demanding her money back because it was the worst garbage ever projected onto a screen. Same movie. 2 completely different experiences. Why? Because it's not about the movie. It's about the moviegoers. What other people think about you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. The trick isn't just to deny criticism any power over you, but also to avoid getting caught up in praise. Sure, it's fine to blush and say thank you when someone gives you a compliment, but if you find yourself constantly chasing external approval, needing to be told you're good enough, cool enough, or worthy enough, you're setting yourself up for trouble. When you base your self-worth on what others think, you hand your power over to them. You become dependent on an outside source for validation. What happens if that source suddenly changes focus, gets bored, or decides you're no longer interesting? You're left floundering, unsure of who you are or what you're worth. All that truly matters is what's true for you. If you can stay connected to that truth without straying, you'll be unstoppable. Everything else? It's just other people's perception of reality. And that's none of your business. How to stop caring what other people think. So, how do you stop caring what others think and become your most powerful self? 1. Ask yourself why before you say or do something. Pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it because I want to be liked? Am I trying to put someone down because I feel insecure? Am I retaliating because they made a fat joke about my mother? Or are your actions coming from a place of strength and truth? Are you doing it because it's fun? Because you feel called to do it? Because it'll make a positive impact on someone's life without sacrificing your own integrity? Be honest with yourself about your motivations. When you operate from a place of integrity, you can't lose. 2. Always do your best. There's no faster way to fall prey to outside opinions than when you feel insecure. And there's no faster way to feel insecure than by half-assing something or not truly believing in what you're doing. Whatever it is, raising your prices, raising your children, or raising hell, if you do your absolute best and come from a place of integrity, you can stand tall. You can be proud of yourself and not give a damn what anyone else thinks. 3. Trust your intuition. Birds use their intuition to navigate thousands of miles to breeding grounds. Deer and rabbits use theirs to avoid predators. And yet, the average human is more likely to take advice from their drunk-before-noon neighbor than to trust their own gut. How many times have you looked back and thought, I knew I should have listened to my gut? You have an incredible inner guidance system. Use it. Tell everyone else to shut up, get quiet, and give yourself the space to think and feel. You have all the answers inside of you. The more you practice listening to your intuition, the stronger it will become. Strengthen your connection to source energy. Trust that you know what's best for you. When you're centered and tuned in, you become unstoppable. 4. Find a temporary role model sometimes. Not caring what others think is a muscle that takes time to build. While you're working on it, find a mentor, hero, or role model. Someone you admire and find inspiring. When you're faced with a challenge and you're unsure how to react, ask yourself, what would my hero do? As you grow stronger, you'll eventually outgrow your hero. At that point, you'll no longer ask, what would they do? You'll start asking, what would I do? 5. Love yourself no matter what anyone else thinks. Important note about outside opinions. While you're absolutely forbidden from basing your self-worth on what other people think, that doesn't mean you should dismiss outside input altogether. Constructive criticism and compliments from those who know you well can be invaluable. The key is to discern whether the feedback you receive is constructive or just noise. For instance, if multiple people have been telling you for years that you're a hothead, that they feel like they can't be open with you because you blow up at the slightest disagreement, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this true? Can I use this information to better myself and improve the lives of others? If the answer is yes, commit to making the necessary changes. If the answer is no, let it go. The same goes for compliments. If people are always telling you what a great listener you are, ask yourself, is this true for me? Can I use this compliment to better myself and improve the lives of others? If yes, figure out how to capitalize on it. If no, let it go. Sometimes other people can see truths about us that we're blind to. Their observations can help us live happier, more authentic lives, if we take the time to listen. However, it still comes down to what's true for you. The more connected you are to your inner truth, the easier it will be to use outside opinions to your advantage without letting them control you. Quick reminder about screwing people over. Let's be clear about what qualifies as screwing someone over. Taking their money and doing a lousy job? That's screwing someone over. Destroying their water source? Screwing someone over. Enslaving populations? Big time screwing someone over. However, your mother being disappointed, your father disapproving, or your friends being outraged. That does not qualify as screwing someone over. Chapter 8. Say yes to your adventure. The big question is whether you are going to be able to say a hearty yes to your adventure. Joseph Campbell. Getting clear about your unique purpose can mean the difference between living a life of happiness, abundance, and choice, or settling into the restrictive veil pen of indecision and tired old excuses. Your gift, your unique talent, was meant to be shared. That's why it feels so brutal when we can't figure out what it is, or worse, when we know exactly what it is but are too scared or lazy to act on it. Here you are, holding the perfect gift to share with the world, and instead of unwrapping it, you keep it boxed up, gathering dust. What a waste. What agony. We all know the joy of giving someone the perfect gift. The kind of gift that makes you so excited you can barely stand still. You're practically hopping, begging them to open it already. Now, imagine living your life that way, constantly sharing your gift, bringing that joy to yourself and others, and feeling the kind of excitement that makes you feel like a rock star. Because that's what happens when you share the unique gifts you were brought here to give. When we live in alignment with our purpose, we become our highest, most powerful selves. The tragedy of a tasteful candle life. Too many people wander through life, giving the equivalent of a tasteful candle as their gift to the world. You know the type. They show up to the party with something, sure, is polite and acceptable. They get a warm hug and an "oh, you shouldn't have," but it's not exactly lighting up the room. For example, they get a job they're lukewarm about. Pays the bills, but it's not thrilling. Their life covers the basics as long as they don't go overboard. They have fun sometimes, but not as much as they'd like. They might score a small victory here and there, a sales quota met, a week-long cruise to the Bahamas, or even finishing a song they've always wanted to write. But they never really go for it. Instead, they hit snooze on their lives, settling for okay instead of extraordinary. Your real life is waiting. Every single one of us is born with unique and valuable gifts. The moment we decide to put them to use is the moment the real party begins. Living a life on purpose isn't reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone who chooses it. If you feel stuck, unsure, or like you're settling, know this. The answers are already here. So is the life you can't wait to create. You just need to get clear on who you are and what you want. How to get clear on your purpose. There are entire books dedicated to finding your calling. But here are a few of my favorite tips to get you started. 1. Be the alien. Imagine you're an alien. You're floating in outer space when, suddenly, you swoop down to Earth and inhabit your own body. Everything is new to you. You look around and ask yourself, what is this person obviously awesome at? What do they enjoy the most? What connections, resources, and opportunities do they have? As the alien, you have no baggage, no past, and nothing at risk. All you see is possibility. What will you do with this incredible new life you've stepped into? How will you use this body and this existence to create something amazing, starting right now? This exercise can give you a fresh perspective. It shakes you out of old habits and tired excuses and helps you see the staggering possibilities all around you. Be the alien for 24 hours and take note of what you discover. 2. Take the first right step. Stop wasting precious time trying to figure out the perfect next move. Just do something already. How many hours, days, or even years do we waste rolling ideas around in our heads, imagining what-ifs, and coming up with reasons why and why not? Get out of your head. Take action. You don't need to know where it's going to lead. Just take one step in the direction that feels right and keep following those right feeling steps. Most answers reveal themselves through doing, not thinking. 3. Do your best wherever you're at. Your first step might not land you in your dream situation right away. It might place you on a stepping stone, an awesome one, or maybe one that's not so pleasant. Either way, appreciate where you are. Everything you do along your journey contributes to where you're going. Let's say your dream is to become a rock star. You might take a job waiting tables to give yourself the flexibility to travel, play gigs, and hit the studio. Sure, waiting tables isn't your ultimate calling, but having a good attitude about it will not only make life more enjoyable, but it will also raise your frequency, attracting more opportunities to move you toward your dream. Remember, you're on the path. You're moving toward your dream. Relax, be grateful, and trust that everything you need is on its way. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look around. Who out there is living a life that makes you jealous? What are they doing that you'd love to do too? Who inspires you and seems like the coolest person ever? You don't need to invent your dream life from scratch. Instead, pay attention to what lights you up. If someone else's life sparks your interest, it could mean that your calling overlaps with theirs. Get specific. What exactly about their life excites you? Is it the freedom to travel the world, the solid routine, or the lack of one? Do they work outdoors? Alone? With animals? In their pajamas? The more specific you get, the clearer your own desires will become. Read magazines that interest you. Talk to people doing what you dream of. Spend time in places where like-minded people hang out. When you put yourself out there, you never know what you'll discover, or who you might meet to guide you to your next opportunity. 5. Don't get caught up in the thunderbolt hype. One of the biggest misconceptions about finding your purpose is the idea that it will strike you like a thunderbolt, a single, life-defining epiphany that answers every question. While some people do know their calling from the get-go, many of us spend years, or even our whole lives, wandering, exploring, and evolving. And that's okay. Let yourself off the hook if you don't have one big, perfect thing you know you're meant to do. The same goes for finding the perfect soulmate, by the way. The truth is, you'll probably fulfill several callings throughout your life, and maybe even have more than one great love. Follow what feels good in the moment. Let it lead you through an excellent, ever-evolving life. 6. Listen to your intuition. If you really want to connect with who you are and what you love, dedicate time to tuning in to your intuition. Spend 5 quiet minutes by yourself every day. Most of us move through life at full speed, mentally and physically. We bulldoze over the answers we're seeking because they're drowned out by the noise. When you sit quietly and ask, you'll eventually get an answer. It might not come right away, but stick with it. Be patient. Your inner guidance has all the answers you need. You just need to give it the space to come through. 7. Follow your fantasies. Now that we've gone over the kinder, gentler ways to figure yourself out, it's time to dive into something you might not love hearing. Jump into the deep end and follow your fantasies. What do you daydream about? What visions come to mind when you're staring out the train window, drifting off to sleep, or pretending to listen to someone boring? Are you performing stand-up comedy to a crowd roaring with laughter? Are you surrounded by your kids in the happiest, coziest home? Are you being celebrated for building schools or orphanages around the world? Dream as if money isn't an issue. Forget about survival for a moment and focus on what brings you joy. If you had unlimited money, what would you spend your life doing? Our fantasies reveal who we are and what we think is awesome. Even the most out there, ridiculous dreams mean something. They represent the biggest, most vibrant versions of ourselves. Our fantasies are our realities in an excuse-free world. Think about it, someone out there is already doing the very thing you're dreaming of. So why not you? Sometimes it's not that we don't know our calling. It's that we're too terrified to face it. It feels too big, too impossible, or too far outside what we think is acceptable for us. But what if you had the guts to leave your excuses behind and go for it anyway? What if you dared to pursue the most outrageous, exciting dream you've ever had, no matter what anyone, including your own fearful self, thought? That would be living. 8. Love yourself like you're the only you there is. Chapter 9. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Andre Gide. Every May, I go backpacking with 2 longtime friends in the desert wilderness of southeast Utah. It's one of the most magnificent and surreal places I've ever experienced. Picture this: giant, jagged slabs of pink rock jutting out of the ground like raw meat. Sandstone towers in shades of white, yellow, and purple twisting skyward like melted taffy. Deep cracks in the earth forming cathedral-like slot canyons. The canyon walls, smooth from years of flash floods and sandstorms, seem to change colors with every shift of the sunlight. It's like walking on the moon, only cooler. Each year, we trek through this alien landscape, climbing boulders, collecting colorful rocks, and arguing over which eagle, snake, or mountain goat deserves the title of creature of the day. Because my friends are expert navigators, we go deep into the wilderness, far from trails and people. In the 16 years we've been hiking here, I could probably count on one hand the number of people we've bumped into, which is why I was so surprised, and frankly skeptical, when my friend Tom came back from scouting a campsite with an unusual story. "I just met this really wild guy," he said, sounding genuinely excited. He was wearing nothing but a loincloth and a headband. He was holding a spear, too. Said he's been living in the canyon for 13 years. I stared at him. Was he riding a magic dragon? "I'm serious," Tom insisted. "So where is he?" "He went off to check his squirrel trap, but he could come back." Tom is a terrible liar, and wherever this joke was headed, it wasn't moving fast enough for me. I started setting up my tent, only half listening. A few minutes later, as I bent down to hammer in a tent stake, I looked through my legs and froze. There, in the upside-down frame of my view, were a pair of tanned feet in homemade sandals, strong, naked legs, and a dead squirrel dangling by its tail from a fist. I stood up and spun around, and there he was, loincloth man, modern-day Tarzan. Slayer of buffalo and ladies alike. Tom had neglected to mention that loincloth man was, well, totally hot. He looked to be in his late 30s, with a lean, muscular body, a deep tan, and shaggy brown hair that matched his beard. He fit the part so perfectly, like a modern-day Tarzan, that I immediately became suspicious. His loincloth, for one thing, looked too well made. It was impeccably tailored and appeared to be crafted from soft Italian leather. Really? Italian leather? Wouldn't a scrappy canyon rabbit have sufficed? Still, there was no denying his appeal. As he stood there holding his squirrel, we gathered around him like kids at a petting zoo, mesmerized by our good fortune. Creature of the day? No contest. He answered all our questions in a slow, deliberate manner, explaining that he'd been living in the canyon, and several neighboring ones, for over a decade. He shared how he found modern society unnecessarily complicated and misguided, so much so that he chose to live entirely off the land. He stored grain for the winter, slept in a cave, and even whittled his own bow and arrows. What struck me most, even more than his minimalist lifestyle, was his unapologetic confidence. There we stood, suddenly self-conscious in our expensive hiking boots and high-tech gear, while he casually described how he had spent weeks crafting his bow or tanning the deer hides that served as his bedding. He didn't care what we thought. He wasn't worrying about whether he should be doing something different or what he might be missing out on. He wasn't concerned about the opinions of some random hiker from LA judging his loincloth. He was just happy being who he was, swinging his squirrel like a purse, fully present in his moment in the middle of nowhere. I want to be like loincloth man, love yourself, no matter who you really are. Chapter 9. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Andre Gide. Every May, I go backpacking with two longtime friends in the desert wilderness of southeast Utah. It's one of the most magnificent and surreal places I've ever experienced. Picture this: giant, jagged slabs of pink rock jutting out of the ground like raw meat. Sandstone towers in shades of white, yellow, and purple twisting skyward like melted taffy. Deep cracks in the earth forming cathedral-like slot canyons. The canyon walls, smooth from years of flash floods and sandstorms, seem to change colors with every shift of the sunlight. It's like walking on the moon, only cooler. Each year, we trek through this alien landscape, climbing boulders, collecting colorful rocks, and arguing over which eagle, snake, or mountain goat deserves the title of creature of the day. Because my friends are expert navigators, we go deep into the wilderness, far from trails and people. In the 16 years we've been hiking here, I could probably count on one hand the number of people we've bumped into. Which is why I was so surprised, and frankly skeptical, when my friend Tom came back from scouting a campsite with an unusual story. "I just met this really wild guy," he said, sounding genuinely excited. He was wearing nothing but a loincloth and a headband. He was holding a spear, too. Said he's been living in the canyon for 13 years. I stared at him. Was he riding a magic dragon? "I'm serious," Tom insisted. "So where is he?" "He went off to check his squirrel trap, but he could come back." Tom is a terrible liar, and wherever this joke was headed, it wasn't moving fast enough for me. I started setting up my tent, only half listening. A few minutes later, as I bent down to hammer in a tent stake, I looked through my legs and froze. There, in the upside-down frame of my view, were a pair of tanned feet in homemade sandals, strong, naked legs, and a dead squirrel dangling by its tail from a fist. I stood up and spun around, and there he was, loincloth man, modern-day Tarzan. Slayer of buffalo and ladies alike. Tom had neglected to mention that loincloth man was, well, totally hot. He looked to be in his late 30s, with a lean, muscular body, a deep tan, and shaggy brown hair that matched his beard. He fit the part so perfectly, like a modern-day Tarzan, that I immediately became suspicious. His loincloth, for one thing, looked too well made. It was impeccably tailored and appeared to be crafted from soft Italian leather. Really? Italian leather? Wouldn't a scrappy canyon rabbit have sufficed? Still, there was no denying his appeal. As he stood there holding his squirrel, we gathered around him like kids at a petting zoo, mesmerized by our good fortune. Creature of the day? No contest. He answered all our questions in a slow, deliberate manner, explaining that he'd been living in the canyon, and several neighboring ones, for over a decade. He shared how he found modern society unnecessarily complicated and misguided, so much so that he chose to live entirely off the land. He stored grain for the winter, slept in a cave, and even whittled his own bow and arrows. What struck me most, even more than his minimalist lifestyle, was his unapologetic confidence. There we stood, suddenly self-conscious in our expensive hiking boots and high-tech gear, while he casually described how he had spent weeks crafting his bow or tanning the deer hides that served as his bedding. He didn't care what we thought. He wasn't worrying about whether he should be doing something different or what he might be missing out on. He wasn't concerned about the opinions of some random hiker from LA judging his loincloth. He was just happy being who he was, swinging his squirrel like a purse, fully present in his moment in the middle of nowhere. I want to be like loincloth man, love yourself, no matter who you really are. Part 3. The Power of Letting Go and Taking Charge. Part 3 dives deep into the transformative process of stepping into your power by releasing the baggage that holds you back. It's all about letting go of excuses, negative self-talk, and fear-driven habits, while embracing the responsibility to actively create your best life. In this section, the focus shifts to taking control of your mindset, actions, and beliefs to fully own your journey. Themes include learning to forgive, creating new habits, and aligning your life with your highest desires. It's about becoming the kind of person who confidently steps out of the shadows and into the driver's seat of their destiny. Whether you're stuck in a cycle of doubt, grappling with fear, or just waiting for the perfect moment to act, this part will teach you how to drop the struggle and step boldly into your potential. It's empowering, practical, and designed to light a fire under anyone ready to live life unapologetically. Chapter 10. You are never alone, you are never alone or helpless. The force that guides the stars guides you too. Shri Shri Anandamurti meditation, often described as sitting still and thinking about nothing, is deceptively simple yet unexpectedly challenging. It's like those endurance contests where participants keep their hands on a car for hours to win it. Both seem straightforward but require incredible patience and determination. Meditation operates similarly. It's easy in concept but demands consistency and focus to master. At its core, meditation is about quieting the mind's endless chatter so you can connect to source energy, your higher self or the universe. This connection doesn't just feel good. It offers profound benefits, such as grounding you in the present moment, raising your frequency, attracting positive energy, opening you to creative ideas and guidance, reducing stress and promoting relaxation, strengthening intuition and focus, enhancing your capacity to love yourself and others. Regular meditation helps you align with the airstream of awesomeness, as described, allowing you to navigate life with more clarity, joy, and purpose. Steps to basic meditation. Meditation doesn't require a complex setup or rigid rules. Here's a simple guide. 1. Get comfortable. Sit cross-legged on the floor or in a chair with your hands resting on your knees or in your lap. 2. Relax your body. Sit up straight but keep your face, jaw, and forehead relaxed. 3. Close or soften your eyes. Close your eyes or softly focus on a spot in front of you to help stay present. 4. Focus on your breath. Notice your breathing as it moves in and out naturally. 5. Let thoughts pass. When your mind wanders, gently bring your focus back to your breath. Options to enhance meditation. 1. Set a timer. Avoid distraction by presetting a timer for your session. 2. Use a candle. Focus on the candle's flame to anchor your thoughts. 3. Visualize light. Imagine a bright beam of energy running through you, creating a connection with the universe. 4. Repeat a mantra. Choose a word or phrase that resonates, such as love, thank you, or OM, to refocus your mind. 5. Meditate first thing in the morning. Start your day with a clear mind before distractions creep in. 6. Set an intention. Pose a question or seek guidance before meditating. For example, ask, how can I handle this challenge gracefully? Meditation and intention. Meditation allows you to receive guidance from the universe, while intention setting and prayer involve sending energy out. Combining these practices can create a powerful feedback loop. Begin with clarity and openness, and then ask for what you need. Chanting is another excellent method to reach a meditative state. By repeating a mantra aloud, either alone or in a group, you can focus your mind and align with source energy. If chanting solo makes you feel self-conscious, consider joining a group meditation class like Curtain. In Curtain, participants engage in call-and-response chanting of Sanskrit mantras or devotional songs. These classes are often held at yoga studios or meditation centers, creating a communal energy that can deepen your practice. For a structured approach, you might explore transcendental meditation, which involves silently repeating a mantra while sitting for around 20 minutes, twice daily. This method has gained popularity for its simplicity and effectiveness in calming the mind and improving focus. The power of meditation, whether through chanting or other methods, offers a wide range of experiences. Some days it might feel profound. You might see the walls melting, feel as if you're levitating, or enter a state of euphoria so intense it almost hurts. Other days you may find yourself fidgeting, thinking about lunch, or even dozing off. The key is consistency. Even if you spend 29 out of 30 minutes distracted, that 1 minute in the zone can shift your energy. With time and practice, those moments of clarity will grow and ripple into other areas of your life. Meditation as a modern necessity in today's tech-saturated world, meditation has become more essential than ever. Our phones and gadgets have turned distraction into a way of life, shortening our attention spans and pulling us away from the present moment. As our consciousness evolves, the practice of meditation offers a refuge from this chaos. It helps to center us, deepen our focus, and prevent us from becoming scatterbrained in a world that moves faster every day. By dedicating time to meditation, you not only reconnect with yourself but also navigate life's madness with more peace, clarity, and power. Chapter 11. The Power of Your Thoughts. Crafting your reality. Have you ever stopped to notice just how genius our universe is? With all its moving parts, its mathematical precision, the intricate food chains, gravity, the chemical reactions, it's like one giant, mind-blowing masterpiece. This isn't some random cosmic accident. It didn't just happen. No, this whole miraculous operation was thought up. It's deliberate. Nature runs like the smoothest machine you could imagine. Everything has a purpose. Everything works together in harmony. It's stunning. And here's the kicker. The same intelligence that thought all of this into being, it's inside you. It's the very substance you're made of. Think about that for a second. You're not separate from this brilliance. You are this brilliance. As James Allen, the philosophical writer, once said, "Mind is the master power that molds and makes. And man is mind. We are the very thought that created us." And what does that mean? It means your thoughts are your most powerful tool. The stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you carry, the things you focus on, all of it shapes your reality. You might be thinking, yeah, sure, but what does that mean for me sitting here in my current mess of a life? Here's the good news. Whatever you're experiencing right now isn't the whole truth. It's just the truth you've created so far, which means you have the power to create something else. Wallace Wattles, another brilliant thinker, said it best. To think what you want to think is to think the truth, regardless of appearances. Let that sink in for a second. It doesn't matter where you are right now, eating tuna out of a can, sitting in a ghetto-ass kitchen, or feeling stuck in a job you hate. If you can focus your thoughts and actions on where you want to be, if you can hold on to that vision and believe it's real, you can get there. Your thoughts are like seeds. Plant them with care, and they'll grow into the reality you want. But if you keep feeding the weeds, those old, limiting beliefs that tell you, I can't do this, I don't deserve this, this is just how life is, then that's what you'll keep growing instead. Look around. Ever notice how people can take the same course or learn the same skills, but only a handful of them will really crush it? They've all got the same tools. They're hearing the same advice. So why do some thrive while others barely scrape by? It all comes down to mindset. The ones who succeed, they've already decided they're going to succeed. They see themselves winning, they believe they're capable, and they act like it. Meanwhile, the ones who hold themselves back, whether it's out of fear, insecurity, or some subconscious belief that they're not good enough, they struggle. They might even put in more effort than the others, but because their beliefs are working against them, they just don't make it. This is why it's so important to check in with yourself. What stories are you telling? Are you stuck in a loop of limiting beliefs? Things like, I'm not good at sales. I have the worst luck. I'm not built for relationships. I'll never have enough money. These are just stories. They're not universal truths. And if you keep repeating them to yourself, you'll stay stuck in the reality they create. But the good news is you have the power to change your story. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're not stuck. You're a creator. You've been shaping your reality all along. And now you get to decide, do you want to keep creating the same old life? Or are you ready to write something new? The moment you have the audacity to believe in what you cannot yet see, your reality begins to shift. This isn't just a motivational soundbite, it's a fundamental truth. Here's the kicker, so pay close attention. You have to change your thinking first, and then the evidence will appear. Not the other way around. Most of us make the mistake of demanding proof before we allow ourselves to believe something is possible. But that's not how it works. Everything you desire, everything you've dreamed of, is already here, right now. The key is shifting your perception to align with it so it can manifest in your life. You might be wondering, all right, I believe it, but now what? What's next? Do I just knock on the White House door in my flip-flops and announce to the president that we're hanging out poolside? The truth is, when you step into this mindset, believing in the not yet seen, you're not supposed to know exactly how it's going to happen. If you already knew the how, chances are you'd have done it by now. This is about stepping into a new reality, one that's outside the boundaries of what you currently know. Your job isn't to figure out the how. Your job is to know the what, stay laser-focused on it, and remain open to discovering and receiving the how. Here's what you need to do. Keep your thoughts focused on your goal. Do everything you do know how to do to move closer to it. Decide with unshakable determination that it will happen. Be alert for opportunities. They'll show up when you least expect them. Take the story of one of my clients as an example. She went to Tuscany, where she found herself utterly captivated by a villa that was for sale. It was her dream house, her soul knew it. But there was one glaring issue. Her bank account was practically empty. As a bartender and poet, even affording the plane ticket to Italy had been a stretch. Yet, despite the financial reality staring her in the face, she asked the owners to take the villa off the market. She had no clue how she'd make it happen, but she knew it was hers. When she returned home, she was met with an avalanche of skepticism. That's a massive responsibility. It's in another country, and you don't even speak Italian. You can barely pay for your dental checkups, and now you want to own a villa? Despite the doubts of everyone around her, and the nagging voice of reason in her own head, she didn't give up. She believed in her truth. This is my house. Eventually, someone suggested she pre-sell blocks of rental time in the villa to raise the funds. People could pay up front for their stays a year in advance, effectively covering the cost of purchasing the property. It seemed like the answer, but then she hit a roadblock. It turned out this idea was illegal. Back to square one. But she didn't let it stop her. She kept brainstorming, trying everything, and eventually discovered that the rental idea wasn't actually illegal. After a whirlwind of effort, pre-selling rental slots, borrowing money, and navigating countless obstacles, she finally made it happen. Years later, she still owns the villa and is now considering buying another. The lesson here? You have to get a handle on your thoughts if you want to change your life. Albert Einstein summed it up perfectly. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. Cannot be changed without changing our thinking. So start now. Believe in the not yet seen. Trust that the how will reveal itself one step at a time. And most importantly, don't let doubt, whether it's from others or from within, keep you from turning your dreams into reality. Here are some tried and true ways to take control of your thoughts and show your brain who's truly in charge. 1. Ask and it is given. Quiet your mind. Get into the zone. Clear out all the mental clutter and create a clean, open space to communicate with source energy. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about intentional, focused asking. Send out your desires with clarity and confidence to start the manifestation process. The universe can't deliver what you haven't asked for, so get clear and let your thoughts work their magic. 2. ACTAS. Even if your dreams seem outrageous or unattainable, live as though they're already happening. Want to hang poolside with the president? Great. Start by choosing the swimsuit you'd wear, thinking about the conversations you'd have, and preparing to share your Grand Canyon photos. Embody the energy of someone who already has what they desire. Walk, talk, and act like it's happening. This isn't just pretending. It's creating a vibrational match for the reality you want to bring into your life. 3. Upgrade your environment. Your surroundings have a huge impact on your mindset. If you're trying to manifest a life of abundance, but your current space screams chaos, it's time for a refresh. Paint the walls, declutter, and invest in some uplifting decor. Make your current reality reflect the vibe of where you're headed. This signals to the universe that you're serious about stepping up, and it helps you feel more aligned with the life you're creating. 4. Make a vision board. Your mind thinks in pictures, so why not feed it the imagery of the life you want? Cut out photos of your dream home, your ideal partner, or the life experiences you want to have. Paste them onto a board and hang it somewhere visible. By constantly seeing these images, you send a strong signal to source energy to start making it happen. Many people have manifested homes, careers, and even specific details of their dreams from vision boards. Simple, creative, and incredibly effective. 5. Surround yourself with big thinkers who you spend time with matters. If you're always around pessimists, complainers, or naysayers, it's like trying to climb a mountain while carrying a sack of rocks. Seek out people who think big, act boldly, and believe in endless possibilities. These are the people who will inspire and encourage you to do the same. Don't know anyone like that? Go out and find them. Attend workshops, join groups, or hang out in places where inspired, ambitious people gather. 6. Love yourself unless you have a better idea. Chapter 12. Reconnecting with the beginner's mind. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's there are few. Shunryu Suzuki, Japanese Zen monk, author, teacher, and affectionately known as the crooked cucumber. Youth might be wasted on the young, but in some ways, those late teen and early 20 years are a unique sweet spot. Sure, they're laced with drama, angst, and occasional run-ins with authority figures, but they're also marked by this rare balance. The childlike ability to create freely and the newfound adult power to make things happen. Back then, most of us leapt into life with the reckless abandon of someone who believed death was an abstract concept that only happened to other people. We didn't waste time bogged down by what-ifs or paralyzed by the fear of failure. Admittedly, my younger self took this freedom to extremes. I made choices that still make me shudder today. Wandering through dodgy neighborhoods, stowing away on trains, experimenting with mind-bending substances, and even hiking into the desert with no map, no water, and a canteen full of gin and tonic. My guiding principle? Fun first, consequences. Maybe later, but that same fearless energy also fueled some of my most thrilling creative adventures. I didn't let doubts or overthinking get in the way of trying something new. And here's the thing, those early days of impulsive daring often led to spectacular outcomes. So when people say things like, "If I knew then what I know now, I might not have done it," I can't help but shake my head. Thank goodness we didn't know better. Otherwise, many of us would have been stuck on the sidelines, too scared to dive into the dreams that shaped us. Trading dreams for realism as we grow older. Though, many people fall into the trap of responsibility. They trade in the vibrancy of chasing their purpose for a more grown-up version of life, often settling for something that feels safe, passable, or, frankly, soul-sucking. There's this notion that responsibility means giving up fun, that waking up excited about life is something reserved for the young. But let's face it, that's a lie. I'm not suggesting we act irresponsibly or cling to the same habits we had as teenagers. But I am saying that no matter where we are in life, we owe it to ourselves to keep chasing our dreams. Why settle for mediocrity when life offers so much more? Reconnecting with your inner kid. One of the best ways to break free from the chains of adult monotony is to reconnect with the part of yourself that wasn't afraid to dream big. Yes, this might sound corny, bear with me, but think back to a time when you were most in tune with your groove. Was there ever a phase where you were so excited about life that you couldn't wait to jump out of bed each morning? Maybe it was the summer you learned to play guitar without glancing at your hands, or the time you taped a maxi pad over your eye and pretended to be a pirate. For me, that golden era was when I played in a band called Crotch. The wild days of Crotch, let me clarify. When I say singer, guitarist, and band, I use those terms very loosely. Crotch wasn't about technical skill or disciplined practice. Our mission was simple: talk loudly about being in a band, look cool with guitars strapped to our backs, and occasionally strum a few chords. I started the band with my friend Paula, who'd never touched a guitar in her life. Paula and I shared a tough, don't mess with me vibe. She had a fiery red buzz cut, tattoos of flames and dragons, and the confidence of someone who could outdrink anyone in the room. I, on the other hand, was shaped by my high school years as the awkwardly tall girl who never got asked out. I could, however, crack a joke or dominate a basketball court, So I leaned into humor and tomboyish camaraderie. Paula and I decided she'd play bass while I fumbled around on guitar. My younger brother Steven got roped into playing drums, just until we found someone else. Steven, bless him, was endlessly enthusiastic and unflinchingly loyal, a dream for any bossy older sibling. Chaos, confidence, and accidental success crotch was as much about expressing our inner chaos as it was about music. With song titles like Sew Me Up, I've Had Enough, our performances often devolved into drunken, semi-naked outbursts on stage. Despite, or maybe because of, our antics, we quickly gained a following. We wrote, directed, and starred in our own music video, which got national TV play. We recorded an EP, scored a demo deal with Columbia Records, and even learned a couple of extra chords. The craziest part? We did all this while working full-time corporate jobs and having no clue what we were doing. We weren't bogged down by fear or overthinking. We just did the thing, and it was pure, unadulterated fun. What's the takeaway? Looking back, my time with Crotch wasn't about fame or even music, really. It was about tapping into that boundless creative energy, that just because joy of making something from nothing. We all have an inner kid who knows how to dream without limits. And though adulthood comes with its share of responsibilities, it doesn't mean we have to stop creating, exploring, and believing in possibility. So, here's to keeping that fearless, imaginative spirit alive. After all, life is far too short to trade joy for realism. There's nothing as unstoppable as a freight train full of fuck yeah. If you've ever been in your groove, that electric place where life feels effortless and thrilling, and you're struggling to find it again, think back to what your attitude was back then. What were your priorities? What made you excited to wake up in the morning? Use those memories to light a fire under your current self and give you clarity about where to aim now. Here are some truths I picked up during the wild and carefree days of Crotch that still hold power today. 1. Just see what you can get away with. Life is ridiculous. Truly. We're tiny beings spinning on a rock in infinite space, trying to make sense of things that may not even have an explanation. So why take it all so seriously? One of the best things I ever did was adopt the motto, I just want to see what I can get away with. This mindset takes the pressure off and adds a healthy dose of adventure to life. It shifts the energy from, oh no, what if I fail? To why not give it a shot? Yes, life comes with responsibilities as we grow older. But I guarantee there are people out there with far bigger challenges than you who are absolutely crushing it. Why? Because they decided to go for it. Try reframing your goals with this adventurous mindset. I just want to see if I can start my own business. I just want to see if I can make $100,000 this year. I just want to see if I can lose 50 pounds. I just want to see if I can meet my soulmate. Let the adventure energize you. Forget the excuses. Just see what you can get away with. 2. Lose track of time. Have you ever been so immersed in something that hours fly by without you noticing? That's the sweet spot, the vortex, and it's where you need to be as often as possible. To figure out how to live in that space more often, ask yourself, what activities make me lose track of time? How can I do more of those activities, both in my work and personal life? If you're stuck doing tasks you hate, find ways to delegate. Hire someone to take those off your plate. Partner with someone who excels in areas you don't. Free yourself up to focus on what you love. And if your current circumstances are dragging you down, don't just surrender to them. Take control. Make the changes you need to make, even if they're massive. Life is yours to shape, so grab it and prioritize what lights you up. 3. Keep being the beginner. When we start something new, we're often too inexperienced to care about how bad we might be. It's liberating, but as we gain skills and start taking ourselves more seriously, we risk losing the fun. The trick? Let your inner beginner live alongside your expert. Sure, the beginner might be a bit of an idiot, but she's the one who brings the joy, the curiosity, and the willingness to experiment. Don't banish her just because you're more experienced now. Strive for mastery, practice, hone your craft, invest in yourself, but don't let the seriousness of improvement overshadow the fun. At the end of the day, the point isn't just to get really good at something. It's to enjoy it. 4. Love yourself, and the bluebirds of happiness will be your permanent backup singers. Chapter 13. The power of giving. It is one of the beautiful compensations in this life that no one can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. Ralph Waldo Emerson. One day, while driving somewhere with my family, we stopped at a store and told my 5-year-old niece that she could pick out a little something for herself. She came back to the register clutching an entire 6-pack of orange Tic Tacs, her tiny hands barely able to hold them all. Somehow, she managed to charm her way into getting the whole pack approved. Back in the car, I decided to test her generosity. "Can I have a pack?" I asked, fully expecting a hesitant, greedy child response. Without hesitation, she handed one over. Then, in her sweet, itty-bitty voice, she asked my mom and my brother if they wanted one too. They both said yes, and without a second thought, she handed over 2 more. Now down to just 3 packs. She carefully placed them in a pile beside her on the seat and said, "This one's for my brother, this one's for my sister, and this one's for my mom." I watched in astonishment as the saintly child sat there, with nothing left for herself, smiling like she had just won the lottery. She was more excited to give them away than she had been to buy them for herself. I turned to my brother, her dad, expecting some profound explanation for her selflessness. He just shrugged and mouthed, "Freak." As my niece so clearly understood, giving is one of the greatest joys we can experience. It's also one of the most fearless and powerful gestures there is. When we trust in the abundance of the universe and allow ourselves to give freely, we raise our frequency, strengthen our faith, and feel incredible. That elevated state puts us in alignment with flow, opening us up to receive abundantly in return. But when we're stuck in fear, we hold on to what we have. We pinch off the energy, afraid to share, and end up creating more of the very thing we fear: lack. The universe operates in a constant cycle of give and receive, inhale and exhale, light and dark. Each side depends on the other, and each amplifies the other. The more you give, the more you receive, and vice versa. You might be thinking, but what about those selfish jerks who only take and never give? Here's the thing. There's a fundamental difference between receiving and selfishly taking. Receiving flows from gratitude and openness, while taking is rooted in fear and neediness. Smothering someone is not the same as giving to them, just as hoarding is not the same as receiving. I once heard about a woman with multiple sclerosis who was told by her mentor to give away 29 things over 29 days as part of her healing process. She dismissed the idea at first, but as her condition worsened, she finally decided to give it a shot. On the first day, she called a sick friend to check in on her. The second day, she found another small way to give. By the 14th day, she was feeling significantly better, not just physically, but emotionally too. Her business began to thrive, and she went on to create a blog that inspired thousands of others to start giving too. That blog eventually became a New York Times best-selling book, 29 Gifts. When you send out positivity and generosity, it boomerangs back to you. Here are some easy ways to get into the flow of giving and receiving. 1. Support a cause that speaks to you. Pick 1 or 2 charities or organizations that truly matter to you, and commit to giving regularly, whether it's your time or money. Even $5 a month can make a difference. 2. Give something you love to someone who would adore it. Take one of your favorite possessions and gift it to someone who would truly appreciate it. Bonus points if you can do it anonymously. 3. Tip generously. Next time you're leaving a tip, add an extra $1 or 10. 4. Respond to negativity with love. When someone is being snarky or rude, don't lower yourself to their level. Instead, respond with kindness or a compliment. 5. Spread smiles and compliments everywhere. You'd be amazed at how much a simple smile or kind word can brighten someone's day and yours. 6. Say yes to generosity. If someone offers to help you or treat you to something, accept it. Allow them the joy of giving to you. 7. Feel the joy of giving and receiving. Pause for a moment and notice how great it feels to give something freely. Let that high frequency settle in and trust that more goodness is on its way to you. 8. Love yourself and everybody benefits. Giving is a powerful act of faith. It's a declaration that you believe in the abundance of the universe and that you trust in your own ability to thrive. When you let go of fear and give freely, you're not only helping others, you're opening yourself up to a life filled with joy, abundance, and endless possibilities. As my niece so beautifully demonstrated, sometimes the greatest joy isn't in having, it's in sharing. Chapter 14. Gratitude. The gateway drug to awesomeness. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. Anthony Robbins, author, speaker, motivator, life changer. Gratitude is the key to opening the door to all the good in life. As children, my siblings and I were trained to answer the phone with the formal greeting, Jennifer Sincero speaking, as if we were miniature concierge professionals. This was normal for us until the day I made my first call to a friend. Hearing her answer with a casual hello was shocking. You can just say hello. I thought, do your parents know? It was as unthinkable as swearing in front of my mom or sharing a drink with my dad. The years went on, and though phone etiquette eventually softened, the importance of gratitude and good manners never left us. Even when life got messy and wild, the lessons were clear. Always say please and thank you, no matter the circumstances. This ingrained politeness became second nature, like knowing how to make my Italian father's red sauce or understanding that murder was definitely not okay. Gratitude became as fundamental to my being as anything else. And yet, gratitude isn't just about manners. It's more than tossing out a polite thank you when someone holds the door. Gratitude is a state of being, a deep appreciation for all the wonders in your life. It's about more than just saying the words. It's about feeling them. Think about how it feels when you truly thank someone for helping you or giving you something meaningful. That moment of connection is electric. You feel good, they feel good, and the energy bounces back and forth, growing stronger with every exchange. This is the power of gratitude. When you're deeply grateful, you tap into a higher frequency, connecting with source energy. This, in turn, allows you to attract even more of the good stuff into your life. Conversely, when you approach life with anger, guilt, or disappointment, your frequency drops. You disconnect from source energy, making it harder to manifest the things you want. Gratitude is like a boomerang. Whatever positive energy you send out returns to you with even greater power. Wallace Wattles, in The Science of Getting Rich, put it simply, you cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power. Without gratitude, you cut yourself off from the supply of abundance, limiting your ability to bring good things into your life. True gratitude is a practice, not a one-time event. The more consistently you stay grateful, the stronger your connection to source energy becomes. It's a virtuous cycle. Gratitude fuels abundance, abundance fuels gratitude, and you find yourself effortlessly creating a life of awesomeness. Gratitude reminds you that the power to manifest your dreams is already within you. When you're grateful, you're not just thanking the universe, you're thanking yourself. Faith is having the audacity to believe in the not yet seen. It's the muscle you flex when you decide to step outside your comfort zone and transform your life into something unrecognizable from where you stand now. Faith smothers your fear of the unknown, allowing you to take risks. It's the stuff of leap and the net will appear. Faith is your best buddy when you're scared out of your mind. When you are consistently in a state of gratitude, fully aware of all the awesomeness that already exists in your life, it opens the door to even more. Gratitude makes it easier to believe there's more where that came from. If you've received awesomeness before, then, of course, you can receive it again. This is how gratitude strengthens your faith. And strong faith is a major key to transforming your life. Which brings us to the grand gratitude finale. If you want to be a true rock star in the manifestation game, get to the point where you have both unwavering faith and unwavering gratitude for what you desire. This is where the real magic happens because mixing faith with gratitude is the holy grail of manifesting. It takes some Jedi-level skill to master this, though. It's not just about believing in the not yet manifested but also being genuinely grateful for it, as if it already exists. Yes, that's right. You have to be grateful for your imaginary friends and your imaginary life. It might sound ridiculous, but chances are, you're already doing it to some degree in your life without realizing it. Take parking spaces, for example. For as long as I can remember, I've been the master of finding stellar parking spots, right out front, no matter where I go. Whether it's the Pope's house on Easter Sunday or the busiest concert downtown, I just know the perfect spot is waiting for me. When I'm on the hunt for parking, I approach it with a calm and absolute certainty that it's already done. The spot is mine. It exists, and I am genuinely happy and grateful for it. Every time, like clockwork, someone pulls out and in I go. And even though it happens so consistently, I never take it for granted. I'm always just as excited and grateful for it before, during, and after the adventure. Being in gratitude for the not yet manifested sends a clear message to the universe. You trust that what you desire already exists. It aligns you with the right frequency to receive it. If you want to radically change your life, start by strengthening your faith in the abundant, benevolent universe we live in. Be grateful for everything you've already manifested and for all the goodness that's on its way to you. Be grateful for the power you have to manifest any reality you desire, and then leap boldly into the unknown to claim it. Trade your drama-filled stories of lack and limitation for a joyful, grateful expectation that miracles will show up in your life. The more you expect them, the more commonplace they'll become. Here are some ways you can practice gratitude. 1. This is good because, no matter what happens, whether it's amazing, mediocre, or downright frustrating, greet it with the statement, "This is good because," and then fill in the blank. Once you make this a habit, you'll be surprised at how much easier it becomes to find gratitude, even in unexpected situations. For example, imagine you get a flat tire on the way home from picking up your kids. You could say, "This is good because I've just shown my kids how to handle an unexpected situation. Plus, I got to spend quality time with them playing 20 questions while we waited for AAA. That's how I found out my daughter was being picked on at school." It's important to look for ways to be grateful for all that you've manifested in your life, even the things you'd prefer to file under no thanks. Focusing on the negative aspects of challenges only lowers your frequency, keeps you stuck in pain and resentment, and attracts more negativity. It can even make you physically sick or, at the very least, cranky. Instead, practice looking for the good in everything. Gratitude raises your frequency and opens you up to the lessons hidden in every situation. Yes, this can be a tall order, and some experiences may seem like they have no redeeming qualities. Life can throw you curveballs that leave you standing there wondering, what the hell was that all about? Sometimes it takes years to recognize the good in a painful situation, if ever. But often, with time, you can look back and realize the value in what you went through. For example, you might find yourself saying, "You know what? I really needed to have my heart broken by that jackass. It led me to the man I eventually married, who's everything I could ever ask for." Finding the good and the lessons in life allows you to move forward. If you want to stay stuck, resentful, and victimized, keep focusing on the negatives. But if you want to rise above your challenges and rock your life, choose gratitude. Look for the good, learn, and grow. 2. Write your thank you notes every night before bed. Take a moment to review your day. Write down, or at least mentally note, 10 things you're grateful for. These can range from the simple beauty of flowers in your garden, to the fact that your heart is beating, to the hour-long visit from your persnickety neighbor that reminded you how grateful you are not to have her life. Taking time throughout the day to notice and appreciate the small blessings around you helps keep your frequency high. Ideally, practice gratitude as you go about your day. But at the very least, make it a part of your evening routine. 3. Love yourself. Be grateful for all you are and all that you're becoming. Chapter 15. Forgive or fester. Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. Lily Tomlin. Think about the last time you physically hurt yourself. What did you do to make the pain stop? How long did you wait before doing something about it? When we're in physical pain, we waste no time searching for relief. We clean the wound, disinfect it, even if it stings, and bandage it up. Why? Because it hurts and we want it to stop. But when it comes to emotional pain, for some reason, we're far more willing to let it fester. We wallow in guilt, shame, resentment, and self-loathing, sometimes for years, sometimes for entire lifetimes. We replay the pain over and over in our heads, like a terrible movie we just can't stop watching. We badmouth the people who wronged us, fantasize about revenge, or obsess over the ways we were right and they were wrong. It's as if we refuse to heal. We pick at the emotional scabs, keeping the pain alive and ensuring that we suffer just a little longer. We tell ourselves, if I have to suffer, I'm going to make sure you see how much you've wronged me. The truth is, holding on to resentment only wastes your energy, keeps you stuck, angry, and miserable. It drains your spirit, clouds your mind, and can even make you physically sick. Why do we do this to ourselves? Letting go of resentment carrying guilt, shame, and resentment is the big snooze at work. It's your ego pitching a fit, demanding to be right, demanding to be seen. But your higher self doesn't care about being right. It doesn't care what anyone else thinks or does. Your higher self is madly in love with you, and that's all that matters. Whatever happened, happened. Holding on to negativity won't change the past. All it does is keep you chained to the pain and lower your frequency. The moment you decide to forgive, really forgive, you start to set yourself free. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about you. It's about putting your happiness above your need to be right. It's about letting go of anger and reclaiming your energy. As the saying goes, holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for your enemies to die. How to forgive, so how do you do it? How do you forgive someone who's hurt you? Here are some steps to help you move forward. 1. Find compassion. Imagine the person you resent as a child. Picture them acting out of fear, confusion, or pain, doing the best they could with what they had. When you see them this way, as a scared little kid trying to navigate life, it's easier to feel compassion for them. The same goes for forgiving yourself. You too are just a human trying to figure it all out. Find compassion for the part of yourself that didn't know better, and let it go. 2. Erase the other person from the equation. When someone wrongs you, remove them from the story and focus on the lesson. Instead of fixating on their actions, ask yourself, why did this happen? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? When you stop blaming others and take responsibility for your experience, you open yourself up to healing. Forgiveness becomes less about them and more about freeing yourself. 3. Decide you'd rather be happy than right. Ask yourself, is holding on to this resentment worth sacrificing my happiness? Sometimes the road to freedom lies in simply letting go. If the cost of being right is your peace of mind, it's not worth it. Release the need to prove your point and choose happiness instead. 4. Look at it from another perspective. Remember, everyone is living in their own version of reality. What seems unacceptable to you might feel perfectly fine in their world. Try to loosen your grip on being right and consider another perspective. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, it just helps you let go of resentment and move forward. 5. Have a total meltdown. Find a safe place, grab a pillow or mattress and let it all out. Scream, punch, cry, whatever it takes to release the anger. Get it out of your system completely, then let it go. 6. Remember that you won't even remember this. Think about someone who upset you 3 years ago. Do you even remember them? If you do, can you still feel the same anger? Whatever you're holding on to right now will most likely fade into a distant memory. Why let it control your present when it's destined to become a blip in your life story? 7. Forget about it. Once you've forgiven someone, wipe the slate clean. Don't keep rehashing what they did or expecting them to mess up again. Release all expectations and start fresh. What you focus on grows, so focus on their good qualities. When you expect the best from others, they often rise to meet those expectations. 8. Love yourself. Be grateful for all you are and all that you're becoming. Forgiveness is simple but not always easy. It's about letting go of the stories and beliefs that keep you tied to the pain. Once you choose forgiveness, you set yourself free to live the life you deserve. Chapter 16. Loosen your bone. Wilma, you don't paddle against the current. You paddle with it. And if you get good at it, you throw away the oars. Chris Christopherson. Several years ago, I embarked on a life-changing trip to India. If you've ever been there, you'll know it's a sensory overload. Vibrant colors, honking cars, wandering cows, bustling trains, sprawling slums, grand palaces, ancient temples, and the ever-present scent of incense. India is brimming with humanity, and it's impossible to avoid being swept up in the chaos. You essentially have two choices. 1. Go with the flow and embrace the ride. 2. Stress yourself out and grow a big, fat tumor of frustration. For the most part, people in India choose the first option. That's what struck me most during my time there, how everyone seemed to have an unshakable ability to simply go with it. In India, you'll find people who will spoon you on a bus if you fall asleep, chat with you at stoplights, or insist you join their family photos. They'll laugh, burp, fart, and offer you tea in the same breath. It's annoying, it's endearing, and it's a reminder of something we've long forgotten. Life is meant to be lived, not controlled. A super deluxe adventure, one of my most memorable experiences, happened when I took a super deluxe express bus from Agra to Delhi. I paid a premium for what was supposed to be a 5-hour non-stop ride, which sounded like heaven after 3 sleepless days at a camel festival. Instead, I ended up seated next to a middle-aged man who spoke 3 words of English but was determined to chat with me anyway. My attempts to fake sleep didn't discourage him in the slightest. The bus left an hour late, then crawled through endless wedding processions. In India, weddings are a grand spectacle, with parades of dancers, horses, and lights stretching down the streets. It was peak season, and we were stuck in the middle of it all. Eventually, we hit the open road, and I began to relax. That's when we pulled over in a tiny village. Everyone on the bus got off. It turns out the man next to me wasn't just a chatterbox, he was some sort of holy figure. He led the entire bus to visit temples, chant, and participate in ceremonies. I thought to myself, how would a busload of New Yorkers react in this situation? Yet not a single person complained. When we got back on the bus hours later, long past the scheduled arrival time, everyone was smiling, chatting, and thanking the holy man. By the time we reached Delhi, around 3 a.m., I was exhausted, but the family I stayed with insisted I have tea with them, treating me like a long-lost friend. Lessons from India. Here's what I learned during that trip. Talk to strangers. We're all family on this planet. Expect and enjoy the unexpected. Find the humor. Join the party. Live in the moment. Time spent enjoying yourself is never time wasted. Share your space. Loosen your bone. Wilma. The more you embrace the chaos, the more life opens up for you. Love yourself, and when you do, life becomes a party. Part 4. How to get over your BS. Already we all carry baggage, excuses, limiting beliefs, and fears that keep us stuck in old patterns and prevent us from stepping into the life we want. Part 4 is your personal wake-up call to stop hiding behind your excuses and start living boldly. In these chapters, you'll learn how to recognize the stories you tell yourself that hold you back, let go of perfectionism and procrastination, and face your fears head-on. With practical tips and powerful insights, this section is about clearing the clutter in your mind and heart so you can finally move forward with confidence and clarity. Get ready to challenge your old ways of thinking, embrace the chaos of change, and step into your greatness. It's time to stop overthinking, start trusting yourself, and live the badass life you deserve. Chapter 17. It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Albert Einstein. One sunny morning in my California home, I was relaxing, reading the newspaper with the stereo blasting and the doors wide open, when chaos erupted. A bird flew into my living room, flapping wildly and wreaking havoc. It darted into lamps, scattered leaves, feathers, and yes, even poop everywhere. The poor bird was frantic, throwing itself repeatedly against the window in a desperate attempt to escape. I tried, with little success, to guide it toward the open door by flailing a flip-flop in its general direction. Finally, after what felt like hours, I managed to shoo it outside to freedom. As I calmed my own racing heart, I couldn't help but reflect on the scene. The bird had been so focused on the window, convinced it was the way out, that it completely ignored the open door right in front of it. Sound familiar? So many of us live our lives like that bird. We can see what we want, our metaphorical sky, and we nearly kill ourselves trying to reach it in ways that don't work. We keep slamming into the same obstacles, growing more frustrated and exhausted with every failed attempt. All the while, the real solution is right there, waiting for us to notice it. The stories we tell ourselves, the drama we create. We cling to stories about why we can't have what we want. I don't have the money. I'm not good enough. I'm too old. I'm stuck in this job. These false beliefs become our lifeboats, carrying us through life but filled with nothing but garbage. The reality we live in is a reflection of what we choose to focus on. Take a moment to think about this. Have you ever walked down a familiar street and suddenly noticed a tree, house, or mailbox that's been there all along, but you've never seen before? Or looked at someone you've known for years and realized, for the first time, what color their eyes are? These things didn't magically appear. They were always there. You just weren't paying attention to them. Here's a fun exercise. Look around the room right now and count how many red things you can see. Take a minute and really focus on them. Now stop and without looking again, try to list all the yellow things in the room. Chances are you missed a lot of yellow because you were focused on red. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Beyond what you see lies an infinite world of emotions, thoughts, beliefs, dreams, opportunities, and ways to feel good. Yet we often stay locked into the narrow storylines we've created about who we are and what's possible for us. As the poet William Blake wrote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. So why not create a reality that's totally awesome? If you let go of your excuses, whether it's fear of failure, doubts about money, or a belief that intimacy isn't for you, you could create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams." No excuses. Whenever I start wallowing in self-pity, I think about Ray Charles. Ray was broke, blind, and orphaned by the age of 15. He grew up in a segregated world, facing challenges I can't even begin to imagine. Yet, he didn't let any of that stop him. Ray Charles went on to become one of the most successful and influential musicians of all time. Whenever I'm tempted to throw a pity party for myself, I compare my excuses to Ray's challenges, and they fall apart instantly. If Ray didn't let his circumstances hold him back, what's my excuse? Life is an illusion created by your perception, and it can change the moment you decide to change it. Our entire experience on this planet is determined by how we choose to perceive our reality. Shift your perspective. All the struggles and setbacks you've faced are valuable because they help you grow, learn, and evolve. But here's the good news. You get to decide how long you want to stay stuck in those struggles. Your cap and gown are ready, waiting for you to graduate from your old stories and step into a new, more empowering reality. All you have to do is let go of the beliefs that no longer serve you and start rewriting your narrative. Commit to the practices in this book. Study the resources listed in the back. Release your attachment to low-frequency thoughts and trust that the universe has your back. Kick fear in the face. Embrace the unknown, and watch your reality transform. Also, do the following. 1. Become aware of what your stories are. Listen to the things you say and think about yourself. Start busting yourself on your own lies. We get so used to our internal broken records that we don't even notice them anymore. Yet, we cling to these false beliefs as if they were gospel. Look for sentences that begin with, "I always," "I never," "I can't," "I should," "I suck at," "I wish," "I don't have." For example, Jane, a miserable lawyer, says, "I should keep my soul-crushing job because I'll never find one I like that pays as well." Really, Jane? Does that mean nobody on earth has a job they love that also pays well? Sally, the perpetually single woman, says, "There are no good men left." Really, Sally? Were all the good men hunted down and eliminated? Was the great guy your friend just met the lone survivor? Or take Joe, the broke personal trainer, who says, "I can't find high-paying clients." Really, Joe? None? Anywhere? Then how do other trainers have so many clients they can't keep up? Or end up selling their own fitness products on QVC? Once you start listening for these stories, they'll jump out at you, especially in the areas of your life where you feel stuck. Identify these broken records and you're one step closer to rewriting them. 2. Become aware of what you're gaining from your stories. Here's the truth. We don't do anything unless we get something out of it. Even the most toxic stories serve us in some way, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. Take depression, for example. Yes, it feels terrible, but it can also be cozy and familiar. You don't have to go to the gym, do the laundry, or take big risks. People check on you, bring you food, and give you attention. You get to avoid trying and possibly failing at new things. Or say your story is, I can't make money. By staying broke, you avoid taking responsibility, and other people might step in to help. It's safe. It's familiar. Maybe your story is, I suck at relationships. Staying single means you keep your freedom, avoid compromise, and never have to risk getting hurt. These benefits are false rewards. They keep you trapped in your old patterns, even as you dream of something better. Once you recognize what you're gaining from your stories, you can start to let them go. 3. Get rid of your stories. Once you've identified your stories and their false rewards, it's time to let them go. Here's how. 1. Make a list. Write down all your limiting beliefs, your I can'ts, I shoulds, and I nevers. 2. Journal about the false rewards for each story. Ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? Write freely and let the answers flow. 3. Thank the false rewards. These beliefs were trying to protect you, even if they no longer serve you. Acknowledge them and then release them. 4. Rewrite your stories for every false belief. Write a new, empowering truth. For example, oh, there are no good men left becomes the world is filled with amazing, loving men, and I'm excited to meet one. Oh, I can't make money becomes I am fully capable of creating wealth and living a financially abundant life. 5. Repeat your new stories. Turn your new beliefs into affirmations. Write them down, say them out loud, and remind yourself of them daily. 6. Step into your new truth. Envision yourself living these new stories. Feel the joy, power, and excitement they bring. 4. Get a move on. Once you've identified your story and done the energy work to let it go, it's time to take action. If you've decided to let go of depression, stop indulging in habits that reinforce it. Put away the sad music, stop talking about how bad you feel, and quit pretending that putting on your bathrobe counts as getting dressed. Instead, focus on the good. Do the things that bring you joy. Make an effort to behave like someone who isn't depressed. Dress like they dress. Hang out with the kinds of people they hang out with. Speak the way they speak. Act the way they act. But here's the key. You can't just pretend. You can't half-heartedly say, okay, I'm going to have a great time on this date, while secretly thinking, this is going to be awful because it always is. Going through the motions while still clinging to your old beliefs is like forgiving someone but secretly hoping they sit in something wet. 5. Get out of your routine. Shake things up. Talk to strangers. Wear something out of the ordinary, or try a new grocery store. Make dinner for someone you'd like to get to know better. Change your toothpaste. Go to a movie on a random weekday afternoon. Take notice of things you usually overlook. 5 awesome details about your home, your beliefs, your mother, or even your own face. Breaking free from your usual routine creates space for new realities to reveal themselves. Realities that were always there, just waiting for you to notice. 6. Sidestep the spiral. We've all been there. The spiral into darkness. Start small. You're sad because your dog died. Then you realize that not only are you dogless, but you're still single and you'll probably always be single. Everyone, including your dog, leaves you. And it's probably because of your fat thighs or your gorgeous sister who's overshadowed you your entire life, leaving you with no self-confidence. What? Here's the thing. Feel your sadness, but don't let it snowball into a full-blown melodrama. Life happens. Things will hurt, but it's up to you to feel the pain, learn from it, and let it go. Shift your focus back to creating a life that excites you. 7. Love yourself more than you love your drama. Chapter 18. In order to kick ass, you must first lift up your foot. In order to kick ass, you must first lift up your foot. Jen Sincero, one of my first jobs after college, was working as a production coordinator for the Ethnic Folk Arts Festival in New York City. The job was with a small nonprofit, and I'd heard about the opening through a friend. I decided I had to have it, even though I had zero experience producing anything and found folk art a bit, well, unworthy. But the gig sounded fun. The office was a funky loft in Tribeca. The team seemed cool, and they brought their dogs to work. The festival itself brought together musicians, dancers, and artists from all over the world for one giant party in a Polish beer garden in Queens. Men in skirts, free sausage, and free beer, what's not to love? I whipped up a resume, listing accomplishments like produced plays in college, started organizations in high school, worked at my college radio station, dressed in some borrowed business casuals that didn't quite fit. I marched off to my interview. A few hours later, I had a new job. That night, I lay awake in bed, consumed by panic. What have I done? These sweet, sandal-wearing people had handed me their hard-earned money to pull off this festival, and I was sure I'd blow it. I thought about confessing my incompetence, but decided instead to rise to the occasion. I worked harder than I'd ever worked in my life, determined to make it the best damn festival that Polish beer garden had ever seen. I got my friends to hand out flyers and take tickets in exchange for free sausage and beer. I wrangled polka dancers, set up vendors, and made sure the bagpipe parade went off without a hitch. The lesson: if there's something you really want, I'm not saying you should lie to get it, but I am saying you're probably lying to yourself if you're not going after it. Because when we say we're unqualified for something, what we often really mean is, I'm too scared to try. It's not lack of experience holding us back. It's lack of determination. Think about how much energy we waste coming up with excuses. I don't have enough money. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Now imagine if we redirected all that energy into going after what we want. Here's the good news. 1. You already know more than you think. 2. You're naturally drawn to things you're good at. 3. Necessity is the best teacher. 4. Passion beats fear every time. Looking back, I realized I was more qualified for that job than I'd thought. I'm naturally bossy, I love throwing parties, and I can talk to anyone, even a 76-year-old Russian man in a panic over his missing tights. Just start. I've done plenty of things I wasn't ready for, and they were always more fun than the things I put off because I didn't feel prepared. Whether it's an online dating profile you're hesitant to post, a trip you're putting off until you lose 10 pounds, or a business you'll start someday, here's the truth. Just start. Now, do whatever it takes because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. You could get hit by the ice cream truck before you've even had a chance to try. One time, I spent an entire month preparing my office to write a book. I picked the perfect chair, moved my desk to the perfect spot, and cleaned until the room sparkled. Then I wrote the whole thing at my kitchen table. The danger of procrastination. Procrastination is one of the easiest ways to sabotage yourself. It's so tempting. There's always something productive you can do instead of what you need to do. And there's no shortage of people happy to procrastinate with you. But here's the thing. While procrastination can feel fun in the moment, eventually, the thrill wears off. One day, you wake up and realize you've wasted years. Meanwhile, other people are out there building orphanages in Cambodia, getting promotions, or traveling the world. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse. To help you stop procrastinating and start kicking ass, here are some tried and true strategies. 1. Done is better than perfect. Just get it done already. Launch the website. Send the email. Make the calls. Book the gig even if you're not totally ready yet. Nobody else cares if it's perfect, and guess what? It's never going to be 100% perfect anyway. Momentum is everything. Once you're rolling, it's so much easier to keep going. So stop overthinking it and start now. Right now. 2. Notice where you stop. When do you throw in the towel? Is it when the research gets tedious? When the phone calls feel scary? When you hit a challenge or need to commit? Pinpointing the exact moment you stop allows you to prepare for it. Hire a coach, ask for help, or create a plan to tackle that specific hurdle. For instance, if you always get sucked into social media when you should be working, turn off the internet or go somewhere you can't get online, like a park, your car, or, if necessary, Antarctica. Then, set a goal. Make 5 calls before you can check if anyone liked the picture of your cat eating a potato chip. 3. Make a bet with someone. Accountability is powerful, especially when the stakes are high. Make a bet with someone who won't coddle you or let you slide. Here's how it works. Bet someone a significant, painful but manageable amount of money that you'll complete your task by a specific deadline. Write the check in advance, date it, and leave it on your desk as a visual reminder of what's at stake. For extra motivation, agree to donate the money to a cause you despise if you fail. Nothing gets you moving like the thought of supporting something that makes your skin crawl. 4. Own it and work with it. If you know you're a last-minute person, stop pretending otherwise. Don't waste time stressing out while not working. Instead, go to the beach, have a cocktail, and relax. Then, when the pressure's on, get to work and crush it. The key is to figure out how much time you actually need to get the job done, and then enjoy yourself guilt-free until it's time to get serious. Half working and half worrying is the worst of both worlds. Skip the drama and embrace how you operate. 5. Love yourself right now, wherever you're at. Chapter 19. I have lived a long life and had many troubles, most of which never happened. I have lived a long life and had many troubles, most of which never happened. Mark Twain. When I start writing a new book, I find it helpful to map it out on index cards, one for each chapter. I jot down the title and some notes, then spread them all across the table to see the whole plan at once. It's an exciting moment. Behold my glorious new book. But then, about 2 seconds later, panic sets in. Oh no, that's a lot of chapters. How am I going to finish on time? My deadline is racing toward me, and I'm still not sure what's going into each section. What was I thinking? Why didn't I start 8 months ago? Is it too early for wine? Someone help me. I'm sinking. Cue deep breathing. Close eyes. Repeat after me. Just do 1 chapter. Time. I randomly picked a card from the table and, fittingly, it read, The Drama of Overwhelm. The drama of overwhelm. Here's the thing. Most of the pain and suffering in our lives comes from the unnecessary drama we create. Overwhelm is no different. It's easy to feel like life is spinning out of control, but, as with anything else, all it takes to shift your reality is a shift in perception. Life is but a dream. Don't turn it into a nightmare. We are so blessed to have opportunities, interests, experiences, and people in our lives. Choosing to freak out about it all instead of savoring it is like throwing pearls before swine. It's such a waste of a glorious gift. To help you shift your perspective, let's tackle the 3 most common complaints about overwhelm and how to reframe them. 1. There's not enough time. Thanks to people much smarter than me, we know time is an illusion. While this is a concept that might blow your mind, let's simplify. Not having time is also an illusion. For example, I don't have time to park properly, so I'll leave the car in this loading zone. Oh look, you just spent 3 hours getting your car out of the tow lot and another 2 hours complaining about it. I don't have time to clean my office. And now you've spent 30 minutes looking for your phone buried under a pile of junk. When we're forced to do something, the time magically appears. Which means it was always there, you just weren't using it wisely. Ever notice how if you have 6 months to complete something, it takes 6 months? But if you only have a week, you'll somehow finish in a week? Time is in your mind, and once you realize this, you can make it work for you instead of being its slave. Here's how. Show some respect. If you want more time in your life, start by respecting the time you already have. Stop showing up late. Stop flaking out on commitments. Keep your appointments. Think of time as a person. Would you expect someone to keep showing up for you if you constantly disrespected them? Probably not. Here's a simple solution. Be on time. Set alarms. Write things down. Keep your word. The better your relationship with time, the more of it you'll have to work with. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. What's your go-to distraction? Facebook? Emails? Snacking? Once you identify your favorite ways to procrastinate, you can create a defense against them. Turn off your phone and the internet while working. Make the kitchen off limits if you find yourself staring into the fridge in a daze. Habits are sneaky, and half the time we don't even realize what we're doing. But once you become aware of your weak spots, you can protect yourself from them. Chunk it down. Looking at a massive task all at once can feel overwhelming. It's like staring at an elephant and wondering how you'll ever eat the whole thing. The answer? One bite at a time. Instead of walking through your entire catastrophically messy house, wondering how you're ever going to clean it, focus on just one room. When you break things into manageable pieces, the larger task becomes far less intimidating. Brains love chunks. This works great for managing time, too. Instead of dedicating an entire day to something monumental like building a website, try working in hour-long chunks. During these 60 minutes, you are unauthorized to do anything but work on your task. No bathroom breaks, no checking texts, no sneaking onto social media. We can all handle 60 minutes. Your brain might go into overwhelm if you try to tackle everything in one marathon session. But breaking it down into smaller, time chunks makes it manageable and even productive. 2. There's too much to do. Ever notice how when you ask people how they're doing, the most common answer is, good. Busy, but good. It's as if being busy has become our default state of being. But constantly talking about how busy you are sends a message to yourself and the universe that you're overwhelmed. Here's how to change that. Watch your mouth stop saying, "I'm so busy." Instead, focus on the things you enjoy about what you do. Speak positively about the projects you're working on and the spaces in between. For example, decide that you live an awesome, relaxed life filled with interesting projects you love. Communicate that mindset to yourself and others. Then go out and merrily live it. Get some help if you're feeling confused, disorganized, or unsure of where to start. Get an outside perspective. Sometimes we're so tangled up in our own lives that we miss the obvious. It's like searching for your glasses when they're already on your head. Ask someone who knows what they're doing for help. Hire a business coach, a clutter consultant, or even ask a successful friend to give you advice. But choose wisely. Don't take financial advice from someone who's broke or dating advice from someone who's perpetually single. Working with a pro might cost more upfront, but it'll save you time, energy, and money in the long run. Get into reality. Sometimes we take on more than we can handle because we think we have to, or we're afraid the world will fall apart if we don't do everything ourselves. Ask yourself, why are you doing all of this? Is it absolutely necessary? Can some tasks wait, be delegated, or dropped entirely? Once you've sorted through these questions, break your tasks down into manageable pieces. 1. Make a to-do list. 2. Separate it into 2 categories, now and wait. 3. Hide the wait list. 4. Focus on the now list, prioritizing the most important tasks. The shorter your active list, the better you'll feel. And remember, you're never going to get everything done. So focus on doing what you can enjoy, instead of trying to do it all in misery. 3. Delegate or die. You can't do it all. Period. Trying to grow a business, get a promotion, or be a stellar parent while handling every little thing yourself is a recipe for burnout. You'll go gray before your time. Here's how to lighten your load. Identify tasks you hate doing or aren't good at, and hand them off to someone else. If you think you can't afford help, reframe your mindset. Look for creative solutions. Hire an intern, ask family for assistance, or barter services. Support is all around you. Sometimes it's just a matter of asking for it or even recognizing that it's available. When you decide something isn't possible, the universe steps back. But when you declare, "I must have this," and trust it's available to you, doors open in unexpected ways. Remember that you are number one. Put yourself first. Before diving into emails, voicemails, or scrolling through social media, take time to tackle the tasks that matter to you. Prioritize your goals and intentions for the day before letting other people's needs hijack your focus. Don't answer calls or texts while you're busy. The world can wait. Other people's needs can easily consume every moment of your life if you let them, and trust me, they will. Your time is precious. Act like it. 3. I'm exhausted. The belief that taking time off will cause your life to fall apart isn't just unhealthy. It's arrogant. Newsflash. The world will keep spinning even if you stop working for a little while. If you don't give yourself a break, your body will eventually force you to. Stress is a leading cause of cancer, heart attacks, liver issues, grouchiness, stupid accidents, and even forgetting how to breathe. But beyond the health risks, there's a deeper issue. What's the point of life if you're not enjoying it? Imagine waking up at 85 and realizing you couldn't find the time to have fun. What were you doing that was so much more important? Making time for rest and inspiration isn't a luxury reserved for the rich, the brilliant, or the less busy. It's a gift you give to yourself by intentionally designing your life to include it. Use the tools. The tools in this chapter are here to help you create the time to rest, recharge, and find joy. You deserve to savor your precious life while you still have it. For love yourself, you're doing an awesome job. Chapter 20. We tiptoe through life hoping to safely make it to death. We tiptoe through life hoping to safely make it to death. Unknown. When I lived in New Mexico, a friend invited me to explore a cave in the Jemez Mountains. It's more like a big hole in the ground, she said, but I hear it's pretty cool. Her pitch wasn't exactly convincing, especially the part about crawling around on all fours, but I didn't care much about the cave itself. I was in it for the road trip, the hike through the mountains, and, let's be real, a burger from this amazing place I'd found on my last visit. The cave was just part of the deal. After a glorious drive under the endless New Mexico sky and a hike through a beautiful forest, we reached the cave. Just as she described, it was a small hole at the base of a hill, just big enough to crawl through. She handed me a pair of knee pads and a flashlight, then crawled in. I followed her on my hands and knees, gripping the flashlight between my teeth. About 10 minutes in, the entrance and any hope of ever seeing a burger again was long gone. If anything happened, a monster, a flash flood, an earthquake, or even a mosquito, we were doomed. The moment of truth when my friend finally stopped crawling. She leaned against the wall with her head bent at an awkward angle. "Okay," she said. "Now for the cool part. Turn off your light." I hesitated but eventually switched off my flashlight. What followed was the darkest darkness I had ever experienced. It was beyond black. It was the kind of blackness that stares you down, asking, "Are you going to let me consume you?" Panic tickled at the edges of my mind. I could feel hysteria waiting in the wings, ready to sweep me into a claustrophobic meltdown. I had two choices. 1. Let fear swallow me whole. 2. Take a deep breath and keep crawling. I chose the latter. Fear is a choice. Fear will always be there, ready to take over. But we have the power to choose whether we engage with it. I crawled out of the cave and into the sunlight, feeling like I just emerged from a battle. Along with the sand in my ears and a sore jaw from biting the flashlight, I gained a profound understanding of fear. It's a habit. We're conditioned to live in fear, from the bad news on TV to the violence in books, movies, and video games. We're taught to play it safe, take no risks, and caution everyone around us to do the same. But here's the thing, to fear or not to fear, that is the question. The crab effect: when someone you love announces they're taking a leap of faith, quitting a job, starting a business, traveling the world, what's your first reaction? For most of us, it's, be careful. We smother their excitement with our own fear, thinking we're protecting them. This is called the crab effect. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl, and one tries to climb out, the others will pull it back down. They don't help. It's like they can't stand to see one of their own succeed. Imagine how different the world would be if we were less crab-like. If, instead of yelling, "Watch out," we shouted, "Go for it." We give lip service to the idea that anything is possible, but when someone actually takes a bold step, alarms go off. Fear lives in the future. Here's the truth about fear. It's all in your head. Fear lives in the future, feeding on things that haven't happened yet, like failure, rejection, or even death. But most of the time, what we fear never comes to pass. And if it does, it's often far less scary than we imagined. Take death, for example. For all we know, it could be a blissful state of love, light, unicorns, and eternal happiness. So why waste your energy creating drama over something that might never happen? Faith is the antidote. The key to overcoming fear is learning to embrace the unknown. Instead of being terrified of what's ahead, have faith. Faith in yourself. Faith in the universe. Faith that no matter what happens, you'll find a way to handle it. Because when you choose faith over fear, you stop tiptoeing through life. You start living boldly, knowing that even if you stumble, you'll get back up stronger than before. Comes down to this: how are you going to go through life? Is your fear greater than your faith in the unknown? Or is your faith greater than your fear? While you're pondering that, here's some wisdom from Helen Keller. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. There's an incredible moment when you finally say, "Screw it, I'm going for it." Suddenly, the thrill overtakes the fear, and you're flying, whether it's signing the papers to buy the house, confronting someone who scares you, stepping onto a stage in front of thousands, or saying yes to love. On the other side of your fear is your freedom. Navigating fear. Tools for the jungle. Here are some ways to stop fear from running the show and start taking charge of your life. 1. View fear through your rearview mirror. Think about something radical you did in the past that terrified you. Now look back on it. How scary does it seem now? Can you even remember the fear? Probably not. Keep this in mind as you face your next challenge. What feels monumental today will be a mere blip in the future. Why not skip the drama and look at it with future you's perspective right now? Envision yourself on the other side, victorious, and watch fear lose its power over you. For example, my first solo trip to India felt like the scariest thing I'd ever done. I built it up in my head until I was fantasizing about ridiculous ways to avoid going, like hoping I'd get injured or that my best friend would suddenly need me. But once I stepped into the international terminal at the airport, the fear vanished. The vibrant energy of the people and colors overwhelmed me with excitement. By the time I boarded the plane, my terror had been replaced by the realization that I wasn't alone. I was surrounded by people, all connected by the same basic human need: connection. That trip became one of the most transformative experiences of my life. It sparked a love for travel that has shaped who I am today. Our greatest fears are often our greatest wastes of time. Face your fears with the truth. They exist only in your mind. 2. Flip the fear. When fear is pushing you around, break it down. Identify what you're really afraid of and then flip it. Use the fear to work for you instead of against you. Here's an example. I want to write a book, but I'm terrified. Why? What if it's terrible? I'll look stupid. What if people make fun of me? I'll feel ashamed. So, you're avoiding writing the book to protect yourself from feeling stupid and ashamed. Now flip it. How stupid and ashamed will you feel if you don't write the book? Very. How would it feel to live an unlived life, always wondering what could have been? By not writing it, you're risking feeling stupid and ashamed anyway. So, which version is worse? Writing the book, even if it turns out terrible, still beats a lifetime of mediocrity, regret, and unrealized dreams. Break it down. Fear is about perception. When you examine it closely, you'll see how irrational it often is. Change your perspective, and let the fear of not taking action fuel your determination. Choose to let fear push you toward greatness, not away from it. 3. Be in the moment. Ask yourself, is anything scary happening to me right now, at this very moment? Chances are it's not. Most of the time, it's not reality that freaks us out. It's the thoughts in our heads. We deplete the energy we need to succeed by panicking about things that haven't even happened yet. Instead, stay grounded in the moment. If you're about to walk into a courtroom, jump out of a plane, or ask for a raise, take a deep breath. Connect with your higher self and source energy. Keep your frequency high and your belief in miracles strong. 9 times out of 10, the thing you're afraid of is much scarier in your mind than it is in reality. 4. Cut off the stream of crap. Be mindful of the information you absorb. What blogs do you read? What shows and movies do you watch? Whose opinions do you seek? What stories do you focus on in your day-to-day life? This isn't about being in denial, it's about being selective. Are you staring at a car accident? Or are you gathering information that allows you to contribute to positive change? Wallowing in pain and suffering doesn't help anyone. Not you and not the world. If you want to make a difference, keep your frequency high and do your work from a place of power and joy. 5. Don't think about anything upsetting in bed. Your mind is like a giant magnifying glass at 3 a.m., turning every fear into something 100 times bigger than it actually is. Unless you're planning to jump out of bed and take action right then and there, don't waste your energy freaking out. Think about it. How many times have you spent the night stressing over something, only to wake up and realize it wasn't that bad? Instead, use your energy to calm yourself. Focus on relaxing every muscle in your body, one by one. Breathe deeply and think about all the incredible things in your life. Listen to a guided meditation or soothing sounds. Do whatever it takes to get a good night's sleep. The only thing worse than staying up all night worrying is being too exhausted the next day to deal with the problem. 6. Love yourself and you will be invincible. Chapter 21. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt. One of the fascinating things about people is how much they reveal about themselves the moment we meet them. Their words, body language, lifestyle, how they treat others, it's all out there. Some people let it all spill out right away, while others give us little hints like, I love water skiing, or I admire your confidence about your weight problem. For most of us, unless someone is a sociopath or a master manipulator, they offer plenty of clues about who they are. And we process all that information through the filter of who we are, our perceptions, judgments, insecurities, and experiences. That filter decides whether we want to get to know someone better or keep our distance. People are mirrors. The things that stand out to us most about others are the things that resonate with us on some level. They either reflect what we love about ourselves or magnify something we don't like. For example, if someone irritates you, it's often because they're reflecting something you dislike or fear about yourself. On the flip side, if you think someone is awesome, they're showing you something you like or aspire to be. Your reality is shaped by what you focus on and how you interpret it, including your interactions with other people. Let's say your new significant other constantly calls you the giant dumbass. Depending on who you are, your reaction could vary. You think they're a bully. B. You figure they're insecure and have terrible manners. C. You justify it because they're in so much pain. They need someone like me to understand them. D. You agree because deep down you believe you really are a dumbass. E. You laugh it off because it doesn't resonate with you at all. The people you surround yourself with are mirrors of how much or how little you love yourself. The lesson in annoying people: we attract people into our lives for a reason, just as they attract us into theirs. Even the ones who drive us up the wall. Your most irritating friends, family members, or coworkers are often the ones teaching you the biggest lessons about yourself. That doesn't mean you have to love everything about them, but it does mean their behavior is giving you valuable insight into your own fears, judgments, or insecurities. For instance, I used to think being feminine was weak and annoying. Somewhere along the way, I decided it wasn't cool or powerful to act girly, so I buried that part of myself. And yet, one of my best friends, Pink, is the girliest of girly girls. She loves Monty Python, bridal showers, and squealing, "Oh my God!" at engagement rings. Despite my initial resistance to all things pink and sparkly, Pink has shown me the value of embracing sides of myself I once rejected. The truth about why people annoy you when someone irritates you: it's often because their behavior resonates with something inside you. If your friend is a know-it-all, for example, maybe you're insecure about your own intelligence, or afraid people see you as a know-it-all too. If someone teases you about being bossy, and it stings, it's probably because you're secretly worried they're right. Our reality is a mirror of our thoughts, including the people in it. Toxic people and excuses. When dealing with toxic people, we often cling to excuses to avoid confronting them or setting boundaries. They've been my friend forever. They've helped me so much. They're just going through a hard time. But the real issue isn't about them, it's about you. It's about facing your own fears, beliefs, and insecurities. The reason it's hard to stand up to toxic people is that it challenges your beliefs about yourself. Are you afraid of confrontation? Do you feel unworthy of respect? Are you afraid of being alone if you cut them out? By avoiding these people, you're also avoiding an opportunity to rewrite the limiting beliefs holding you back. The takeaway: every interaction is a chance to learn about yourself. The next time someone gets under your skin, ask yourself, what about this bothers me? Does this reflect something I dislike or fear about myself? Instead of reacting, use it as an opportunity to grow. Because ultimately, the people in your life are mirrors, reflecting back the parts of yourself you most need to face. At the end of the day, it's about you, it's not about them. It's about you believing you're worthy of being loved and seen for who you truly are. When we let ourselves down to cater to someone else's bad behavior, it's often because we're afraid to make them uncomfortable. But that's not standing in your truth. It's standing in your fear. This isn't about being cruel or retaliatory. It's about declining to participate in their drama and choosing instead to honor your highest self. Whether it's their disappointment, frustration, or even their view of you as the crazy one, their feelings are their responsibility. Respect yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked. This self-respect is transformative. It helps you attract people and opportunities that align with who you truly are, not who you're pretending to be to please others. And when you refuse to feed into someone else's negativity, you raise your frequency and might even inspire them to raise theirs too. Never apologize for who you are. It lets the whole world down. How to own and let go of your projections. We all know people who command respect simply because they respect themselves. These are the ones who don't take crap from anyone, and we wouldn't dare test them. So how can you step into that power? By owning your ugly and questioning the behaviors that no longer serve you. 1. Own your ugly. Notice the things that irritate you about others. Instead of judging or complaining, ask yourself, is this something I dislike about myself? Does it remind me of something I'm suppressing or avoiding? Am I threatened by this quality? Get curious instead of furious. The things that push your buttons are often mirrors of traits or insecurities you haven't fully dealt with. 2. Question your ugly. Once you identify the part of yourself being triggered, start breaking it down. For example, if you're irritated that a friend is always late, ask yourself, in what ways am I late, inconsiderate, or unreliable? Am I being too rigid or controlling? Then ask, who do I need to be for this not to bother me? If you discover you're rigid, this is valuable information. It means you can work on loosening up, letting go of unnecessary demands, and asking yourself, can I let this one go? What are you gaining from this behavior? We don't hold on to behaviors unless we're getting something out of them, even if those benefits are false. For example, if you're rigid, some positive benefits might be that you're punctual or efficient. But the false rewards could include intimidating people into doing things your way, always being right, feeling in control. When you recognize the false benefits for what they are, it becomes easier to let go of the behavior that isn't serving your highest self. How would you feel without this behavior? Ask yourself, how would I feel if I stopped being so rigid? How would I feel if I stopped needing everyone to follow my instructions perfectly? Visualize the freedom and peace you'd feel if you let it go. Picture the energy and brain space you'd reclaim. Fall in love with that lighter, freer version of yourself, and let the old habit fall away. 3. Don't be an enabler. When you want to help someone but aren't sure how to approach it, take a moment to recognize the difference between helping and enabling. Ask yourself, does helping this person feel like you're lifting them up, or does it feel like they're dragging you down? Are they genuinely grateful, or do they act entitled? Do they use your help to move forward in a positive direction, or do they keep coming back for just one last favor for the 50th time? Pay attention to how you feel. True help raises everyone's energy, feels good, uplifting, and empowering. Enabling, on the other hand, feels heavy, draining, and eventually breeds resentment. While it might feel harsh to let someone face the consequences of their own actions, constantly bailing them out only keeps them stuck. Why should they make a change when they know you'll always be there to pick up the pieces? Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is show tough love. Tough love is still love. 4. Give painful people the heave-ho. No matter how much work you do on yourself or how forgiving you are, some people are just too committed to their own dysfunction. They're the ones who leave you drained, frustrated, or downright miserable every time you're around them. Whether they're chronically negative, controlling, manipulative, high drama, or just plain mean, it's important to recognize when it's time to cut ties. This isn't about enduring endless torture or seeing how much abuse you can take. It's about choosing to grow into the best version of yourself. Here's how to deal with painful people. First, feed your head when the person you need to walk away from is someone you care about, or at least like for certain good qualities. Guilt can really get in your way. Stay strong by reminding yourself. Ending the relationship isn't about being mean to them. It's about being kind to yourself. You're choosing to rise up, to honor your highest self instead of shrinking down to their level. That clarity can give you the strength you need to let them go. Next, hit eject when it's time to cut ties. Don't get tangled up in their drama. End it as quickly and cleanly as possible with minimal discussion. If they didn't notice or care enough about your feelings to prevent things from getting to this point, chances are they won't fully understand why you're walking away. Explaining it could drag on forever. Instead, take a step back. Suddenly get busy. Fade them out of your life. Wean them off your time and energy with little to no explanation. If a direct conversation is unavoidable, keep it short and focused. Say, "This relationship isn't working for me. I don't like how it makes me feel. I have to end this, and it's not open for discussion." Make it about you, not them. Give them nothing to argue with or cling to. 5. Love yourself fiercely, loyally, unapologetically. Chapter 22. The Sweet Life. It's great to be here. It's great to be anywhere. Keith Richards. Rock God. Connoisseur of life. I've got a cat who's 22 years old. I've also got a dad who's 87. The cat and my dad share the same superhero power. They both have the ability to make me pay lots of attention to them and be nicer to them than I am to anyone else. Anyone else not staring down the barrel of their impending mortality. That is, I first realized that my cat was old and might die soon about a year ago when, overnight, all his body fat plunged to his belly region, causing him to swing it around like an udder and leaving him with a spine that's still in shock, jutting out all spindly and jagged, wondering where everybody went. This is when the teary farewells started every time I'd leave the house and the fancy wet food began appearing in his bowl. In Dad's case, the phone calls and flights back east have escalated dramatically, and I now laugh hysterically at all his jokes, no doubt making him worry more about my well-being than I do about his. I'm thrilled to report that even though in the calendar's opinion, they're real old, they're both still kicking butt. Dad plays tennis once a week and still knows who I am, and my cat still runs when he hears the can opener. They are also excellent reminders. When it comes to the creatures you love and the things you love and the life you love, what on earth could possibly be more important than soaking them up right now while you still have the opportunity? If it's something you want to do, don't wait until you're less busy or richer or ready or 20 pounds lighter. Start right now. You'll never be this young again. If it's the people you love, visit them as often as possible. Act as if every time you see them will be the last. If they bug you sometimes, love them anyway. If you've got differences, get over them. Don't get so tangled up in the stupid little stuff that you miss out on enjoying the people who have part ownership of your heart. If you're not where you want to be in life, keep going. Treat yourself like you're the closest friend you've got. Celebrate the magnificent creature that you are. Don't let anyone mess with you and your dreams, least of all yourself. Your life is happening right now. Do not snooze and lose. Love yourself while you've still got the chance. Part 5. How to Kick Some Ass. Chapter 23. The almighty decision. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. W. H. Murray, explorer, mountain climber, committer. The story goes that when Henry Ford first came up with the idea for his V8 motor, he wanted the engine to have all 8 cylinders cast in one block. Honestly, I have no idea what that means, but apparently, it was a tall order because his team of engineers was like, "Bitch, you crazy." But Ford, being Ford, told them to do it anyway. Off they went, grumbling and toiling, only to return with their verdict. It was impossible. Upon hearing this news, Ford didn't budge. He told them to keep at it, no matter how long it took. "I don't want to see your faces until you bring me what I want," he said. They pushed back, We just proved it can't be done. But Ford wasn't having it. It can be done and it will be done. And so the debate began. It can't. It can. No way. Way. Finally, off they went again, this time for an entire year, only to return with the same dismal result. Nothing. And yet, Ford persisted. He sent them back with the same directive. Somewhere in the lab, amidst folding origami swans out of their notes and making fart noises every time someone said the word Ford, the engineers did the impossible. They cracked the code and built his 8-cylinder engine block. This is what it means to make a decision for real. When you make a no-nonsense decision, you sign up fully. You keep moving toward your goal, regardless of the obstacles thrown in your way. And, let's be real, stuff will definitely get flung. This is why making the decision is so crucial. This isn't for sissies. The moment it gets hard or expensive or puts you at risk of looking like a moron, if you haven't truly made the decision, you'll quit. If it weren't uncomfortable, everyone would be out there living their fabulous lives without hesitation. So often, we pretend we've made a decision when all we've really done is signed up to try. Until it gets too uncomfortable. Ford didn't even make it past the 6th grade. Yet there he was, bossing around some of the world's smartest engineers. He risked looking like a total idiot, spending time and money on what had been declared impossible. But Ford was determined. He trusted his gut and his vision more than the small thinking of others. He had made the decision that he would have his engine, exactly the way he envisioned it, and nothing was going to stop him. This is why decision-making is so important. Let's say you have a brilliant idea, and you're faced with a room full of so-called experts who know better than you. Would you stick to your guns? Would you demand they do what you say, even if their proof contradicts your vision? Or imagine you needed tens of thousands of dollars to launch a new business, and the only person you could ask was your scary, rich uncle who barely remembers your name at Christmas. Would you ask him? What if you hated the way you looked or felt, but the only time you could make it to the gym was at 5 a.m. on freezing winter mornings, when you were all snugly in bed? Would you go? If you've made the decision, really made it, you do whatever it takes. But if you merely want something without the commitment to back it up, you'd roll over and convince yourself that life is fine just the way it is. This is where being connected to your desire and source energy is critical. There are plenty of times when you'll get a brilliant idea, and it will temporarily fail or push you into unfamiliar territory. If you don't have an unshakable belief in your vision, it's easy to give up when the going gets tough. As Winston Churchill so aptly put it, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Nobody gets to the top of the mountain without falling on their face a few times. By the way, when Henry Ford insisted that his V8 engine could be built, it was after he had already gone bankrupt during his first attempt at creating an automobile empire. So, he already had plenty of evidence to suggest he could fail on a massive scale. But Ford's faith in himself and his vision was so strong that he stuck with it, despite the odds, and became one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. Temporary failure is all the rage, by the way. All the cool kids have done it. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team for lack of skill. Steven Spielberg, a high school dropout, was rejected from film school 3 times. Thomas Edison was called too stupid to learn anything by a teacher and failed over 9,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Soichiro Honda, founder of Honda Motor Company, was rejected by Toyota for an engineering position, so he started his own company. Beethoven's music teacher told him he was hopeless at composing. Beethoven turned a deaf ear. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else? That's just gathering information. There's no big mystery to this stuff. If you want something badly enough and decide that you will have it, you will. You've done it before, whether it was losing weight, landing a job, quitting a habit, or even growing out those bangs you thought you'd regret. And here's the truth. Plenty of people are out there living the kind of life you only dream about. Many of them are far less fabulous and talented than you are. The key to their success. They decided to go for it, stopped listening to their tired old excuses, changed their lousy habits, and got to work. How to make it happen? 1. Want it bad? You need a 10-ton gorilla of desire behind your decision, or you'll bail the second things get tough. It's like someone trying to quit smoking when they don't really want to, or trying to lose weight when pizza is still way more exciting than being able to see their toes. It just doesn't work. A few months ago, I dragged myself to yoga for a solid week, even though I so didn't want to go. I paid my money, sat on my mat, and the instructor asked if anyone had any injuries. Before I knew it, my hand was in the air, and I heard myself explaining that I just had the cast removed from my broken elbow and needed to take it easy. That cast came off 8 months earlier. I spent the week napping on my mat, perfecting my wincing in pain face in case anyone looked my way. It was ridiculous. If you're going to push through the major obstacles between you and your goal, you can't just want it. You need to be in a full-on tizzy of excitement about what you're chasing and hold on to it like a pit bull. You've got to be honest with yourself about what you truly want, not what you should want. You need to believe it's available to you, no matter how impossible it seems, and go for it. 2. Get good at it. The word decide literally means to cut off. No wonder so many people are terrified of it. The fear of making the wrong decision paralyzes some people so completely that they either waffle endlessly, making a decision only to change it over and over again. B. Decide hastily just to get it over with. C. Choose nothing at all or try to do everything, both of which are surefire ways to achieve nothing. But here's the truth. Deciding is freedom. Indecision is torture. Indecision is one of the sneakiest tricks for staying stuck in your comfort zone. That's why successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. It's not about knowing the answer immediately. It's about facing the decision head-on and starting your process, whether that's sleeping on it, making a pros and cons list, or just listening to your gut. If you're a chronic waffler, practice on the little stuff. When you're at a restaurant, pick something off the menu in under 30 seconds and stick with it. Decide on a product to buy online within 20 minutes of research. Choose groceries in 10 seconds flat. Train your decision-making muscles to be sharp and decisive. If you need time to process, set a deadline for yourself. Know how much time you need, whether it's a night, a week, or a month, and stick to it. Don't wake up 40 years later finally sure of what you want, only to realize the opportunity passed you by. And if you're wired for instant decisions, trust your gut. When your intuition speaks, follow it, even if your brain screams otherwise. Finally, stop saying you're bad at making decisions. Replace "I don't know" with "I'll figure it out." Decide that you're a quick, smart decision maker, and you will be. 3. Eliminate negotiation. When I quit smoking, I knew that if I allowed myself to think, what harm could one little drag do? I'd be doomed. Decisions must be watertight, or excuses will seep through every little crack in your resolve. Decisions are not up for negotiation. The old you, the one who hadn't yet decided to kick ass, belongs in the past. Stay present. Don't entertain even a second of doubt or stray from your decision. Think about it this way. I don't go home and debate whether or not I'm going to snort horse tranquilizers, because I'm not a horse tranquilizer snorter. And since I decided to quit smoking, I don't go home and negotiate about having a cigarette because I don't smoke. 4. Stick like glue. I used to interview wildly successful entrepreneurs for a magazine. When I asked them their secret, most said the same thing. Tenacity. Be the last one standing. Wear down every obstacle, excuse, and fear until they're so exhausted they just hand you what you want. Birthing your dreams is like having a baby. Conceiving the idea is the fun part, but then you're in for months of fear, excitement, planning, vomiting, and thinking you're both crazy and brilliant. You grow and stretch until you're unrecognizable, even to yourself. Just when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, labor starts. Everything twists and writhes, forcing you into the shape of the letter C, until finally, a giant baby head emerges from the tiniest possible space in your body. And then, a miracle. To live a life you've never lived. Your faith in yourself and your dreams must be stronger than your fear. Whether your journey is smooth or painful, you have to laugh, cry, stumble, get back up, and keep going. No matter what. 5. Love yourself. You can do anything. Chapter 24. Money, your new best friend. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn, dismayed, that any wage I asked of life, life would have willingly paid. Anonymous. Many years ago, Los Angeles endured a relentless rainstorm unlike anything I'd ever seen. Poured for what felt like 40 days and 40 nights. Rivers overflowed, houses slid down hillsides, and bad hair wreaked havoc across the most image-conscious city in the world. This wasn't the kind of rain you wanted to brave in any car, let alone a 23-year-old junker convertible with a leaky roof, a duct-taped back window, no grill, and a front tire that went flat every 3 days. I'd been half-heartedly searching for a new car for a while but hadn't found anything I loved, or thought I could afford. Still, as I sat there in a puddle, driving to the supermarket with a trash bag under my butt and an old t-shirt jammed in the door to stem the leaks, I thought, maybe it's time to speed this up. At that time, I wasn't exactly rolling in cash. I was trying to grow my business, but I felt trapped. I wanted more money, more confidence, more success, but I was stuck in fear. What if raising my prices made all my clients leave? What if people called me greedy or a fraud? What if I couldn't handle a bigger business? What if I had to hire people, lose my freedom, and end up chained to a computer for the rest of my life? I was scared, and that fear kept me stuck in the same patterns, stuck at the same level. Driving a car that leaked in the rain was just a symptom of that mindset. Deep down, I knew I could do better, which is why, even though my bank account was screaming I wandered into the Audi dealership. I took a brand new Q5 for a spin while the salesman rattled on about premium leather and top-tier features. In my head, I was thinking, this is a fantasy. I'll be heading to Honda after this. But in my heart, I knew better. This wasn't just about a car. It was about no longer being the kind of person who settles for what she can get and finally becoming the kind of person who creates exactly what she wants. It was a big deal. Monumental, even. I tortured myself for weeks trying to decide between two options. The Honda CR-V, a perfectly practical SUV with okay gas mileage, a sunroof, room for friends, a comfortable ride, a decent stereo, a reasonable price. The Audi Q5, a stick of butter on wheels with okay gas mileage, a sunroof that spanned the entire roof, room for all the friends, big, tall, and wide, leather seats that practically begged to be touched, a stereo so divine it was clearly designed by God, angels that sang whenever the doors opened, sexy, flashy, terrifyingly expensive vibes. I came so close to buying the Honda. It was sensible, safe, and responsible. But as I sat there, test driving it for the 10th time, I couldn't ignore the truth. I was in love with the Audi. Buying the Honda would have kept me comfortable, but adventure and true transformation lived outside my comfort zone. So I bought the Audi, and instead of waking up in a cold sweat, panicked over spending the kind of money I'd only imagined using for life-saving surgery, I slept like a baby. Why? Because the moment I decided to buy that car, I also decided to become the kind of person who could afford it. Almost instantly, I figured out a way to pay off the Audi. I'm certain that if I'd gone with the Honda, I'd still be struggling to make ends meet. Buying the Audi wasn't just about a car. It was about choosing to stop playing small. It was about deciding I didn't have to struggle or settle for scraps anymore. When you up-level your idea of what's possible and truly commit to it, the means to accomplish it start showing up too. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you should recklessly blow your money on frivolous things. This isn't about being irresponsible. It's about expanding your beliefs about what's available to you in all areas of your life, including money. The balance in your bank account is irrelevant. What matters is that you're open to playing a bigger game. Whether it's investing in your own business, buying a house, sending your kids to private school, or hiring a coach, you'll need to fund that dream, either with the money you have or by manifesting it. Manifesting isn't about magic. It's about aligning your beliefs with what you desire. It's about rejecting the idea that it's not for me or I could never pay it off. Sometimes that means spending what you have, taking a loan, selling something, or even putting it on a credit card. And yes, this might clash with the traditional idea that debt is irresponsible. But this isn't about recklessness. It's about taking a leap of faith into the life you want and demanding of yourself that you rise to the occasion. When I took my leap into the luxury car world, everything changed. I hit my first multiple six-figure year, traveled the world, got a new book deal, donated generously to causes I loved, and helped my clients achieve their best lives too. Here's the thing, making money isn't just about the money. Losing weight isn't just about the weight. Finding love isn't just about the person. It's about who you become in the process and what you start to believe is possible for yourself. Money is energy, money is currency, and currency is energy. As we've discussed, we live in a universe vibrating with energy. It's an abundant universe, and everything you desire is already here, waiting for you to shift your perception, align your energy, and receive it, including money. Money is energy just like anything else. When you operate at a high frequency, free of resistance, and take the right actions, you can manifest the money you desire. We all know we need to work to make money. Society has drilled that into us. But what we're not taught is that we must align our energy with the financial abundance we seek. In other words, act as if you're already where you want to be. Don't spend time with people who whine about how broke they are. Erase "I can't" from your vocabulary. Envision your desires, set goals, and demand of yourself that you become the person who creates the life you want. Your relationship with money is just as important as the actions you take to make it. That's why so many people work their butts off their entire lives, yet have little to show for it. Their energy around money is all wrong. Imagine a conversation with money. It might go something like this. "Yay! I think you're fun to hang out with too." "Wait, what? You think I'm the root of all evil? How can you say that? All you talk about is how you wish you had more of me. You're scared to admit you like me. You say I'm not there for you. You think people who like me are greedy pigs. Yet you're ecstatic whenever I show up. You work so hard to get me to come over, but I keep you in a constant state of worry. You hate dealing with me. No matter what I do, it's never enough. One minute you act like you'll die without me, and the next, I make you feel dirty. You know what? I'm done. See you later, freak." Sound familiar? Given this dynamic, the question isn't, why can't we make the kind of money we want? It's more like, how the hell do we expect to? Money, like religion and sex, is surrounded by anxiety, taboos, and staunch beliefs that often bring sadness into the world. Yet, if we could just chill out, these three things could be the leading causes of joy. To bring money joyfully into your life, you need to treat it like any important relationship. Pay attention to it. Want it. Nurture it. Respect it. Cherish it. Love it. Fear and loathing of money, whether conscious or subconscious, must go if you want to make any. For a long time, I was poverty proud. I thought pursuing art, fun, and altruism made me nobler than those chasing money. I refused to sacrifice my life for the filthy dollar. Instead, I chose between health insurance and rent, drove extra miles to save a few cents on gas, and hunted for happy hours with free food. Ironically, I thought about money more than the wealthiest people probably did. What I didn't understand was that it's not an either-or situation. You can have integrity, fun, and art and make great money. In fact, you can probably do more of what you love when you're financially abundant. The first rule of wealth consciousness: come from abundance, not lack. When we desire money, we often approach it from a mindset of lack. I don't have it, so I need to create it. This focus on lack lowers your frequency and attracts more lack. Instead, say, I'm manifesting $5,000 to go on a trip to Italy. Watch me. When your faith in the yet unseen is strong, your frequency is high, and so is your ability to attract money. Buying the car worked for me because it forced me to face my fears and strengthen my faith. I didn't see the money yet, but I believed it was there, waiting for me to claim it. This kind of abundance is available to everyone. Whether you were born into a life of privilege or extreme poverty, your beliefs are the key to your financial success. Your beliefs hold the key to your financial success. Believe you can have what you desire and then go get it. Once you understand that we live in an abundant universe, you can let go of the limiting belief that taking more for yourself somehow diminishes others. Playing small doesn't serve anyone, not you, and not the world. Imagine if your favorite musicians never made enough money to buy guitars, take lessons, or pay for studio time to create the songs that saved your life. Imagine if people who build airplanes couldn't afford the materials, engineers, or research to create the flying machines that take us to tropical beaches and the people we love. The more you have to share. There's plenty of money to go around. Your decision to not let yourself make it doesn't save more for others, just as making money doesn't take it away from them. The only reason to feel bad about accepting money for a product or service is if you're scamming someone, failing to deliver what you promised, or causing harm in some other way. But when you come from a place of integrity, you're contributing to the world by making life easier, happier, safer, healthier, more beautiful, or more fun. If you're coming from a place of good intentions, any guilt you feel about desiring wealth is a waste of time. Greedy people may do greedy things for money, but that's on them, not on money itself. Marianne Williamson put it perfectly. Having money is like anything else, a tool. And if you see it that way, making it not just about you but about the betterment of all things, then having money is not only a blessing, it's a responsibility. Let that sink in. Having money is a responsibility. Second rule of wealth consciousness. Get clear on where you're at. Take some time to reflect on how you truly feel about money. Write it down. If you're broke, chances are you've got some deep-rooted issues with money. Write a statement or letter, such as, "I don't trust money. I want lots of it so I can do whatever I want and make big changes, but I don't believe it will come to me. If it does, it won't stick around. I resent needing it. I think people who make a lot of money are evil. I avoid money because I hate dealing with it. And even if I did make it, I wouldn't know what to do with it anyway." Once it's all on the page, break it down sentence by sentence. Expose the false beliefs and drama. For example, "I don't believe money will come to me." Ask yourself, has money ever come to me? If so, when and how much? Recall moments where money showed up in your life, whether through a job, a gift, or an unexpected opportunity. If it's come before, it can come again. Shift your belief from "money doesn't come to me" to "money comes to me all the time." Another example, "I resent needing money." Why? Maybe you feel you've never had enough. But is that true? Have you ever had enough to do what you wanted? And when you had it, did you still resent needing it? Or did it feel great to spend it on something exciting or meaningful? Focus on these moments of gratitude and joy. Change your story from "I resent needing money" to "I'm grateful to money for helping me live an awesome life." Start healing your relationship with money. Write that letter to money, break it down, and create affirmations to replace the lies you've been telling yourself. Repeat your new affirmations daily. Let them sink into your bones. Third rule of wealth consciousness. Get clear on where you desire to be. We all need money for survival. Food, clothing, shelter, medicine. But when it comes to thriving, becoming the fullest, most badass version of yourself, you'll need more than the basics. Being wealthy means having the resources to fully support yourself and share your gifts with the world. It's not just about material wealth, it's about being psychologically, spiritually, and energetically abundant too. For instance, if you own a clothing company, you need money for materials, manufacturing, shipping, and payroll. But you also need to feel happy, healthy, and inspired to create your best work. Maybe that means living in a place you love, hiring help to lighten your load, or doing things that make you happy, like traveling, treating friends to dinner, or adopting a puppy. Wealth allows you to be your best self. And when you're your best self, you give your best to the world. The ripple effect of abundance, think about it. Would you rather live in a world where people feel happy, supported, and inspired to reach their fullest potential? Or in a world where people live in fear, shame, and scarcity? Your abundance raises your energy and the energy of those around you. The more you allow yourself to thrive, the more you'll inspire others to do the same. So, be your best, do your best, demand the best, expect the best, and receive the best. The world needs your gifts at their highest level. Improving the world starts with improving yourself. One of the best things you can do to make the world a better place is to improve yourself. It's a grassroots effort. If you need money to improve your life, then get over it already and go get some. And remember, this isn't just about you. Start by getting crystal clear on the kind of life that will truly make you happy. Be honest with yourself. What experiences, possessions, or resources will support you in living the life you'd love to live and doing the work you want to do? If you genuinely desire a simple life, maybe living in a yurt, surrounded by loved ones, trading handmade trinkets for food, then that's beautiful. But don't pretend you don't want more because you feel guilty or unworthy. That's just holding yourself back. Decide what your personal version of success looks like. No comparisons, no shame. Figure out how much money you'll need to create that life, then go after it with steadfast determination. Fourth rule of wealth consciousness. Raise your frequency. Money, in itself, is meaningless. $100 bill sitting on a table is just a piece of paper. What gives it value is the energy around it. The same bill could carry different energy depending on its story. Was it a gift from your grandmother in a birthday card? Was it stolen from a friend when they weren't looking? Was it earned doing something you loved? Or was it earned doing something you hated? It's all about the energy. Likewise, the monetary value of goods and services is just as subjective. A t-shirt sold for $10 in one store could sell for $1,000 in another. A gold watch might seem priceless to one person but worthless to someone else. It's all what we make ourselves believe. If you believe you're worth $10 an hour, that's the frequency you'll operate at, and that's the kind of job or client you'll attract. If you believe you're worth $1,000 an hour, you'll operate at that frequency instead, and attract opportunities that match. The key word here is believe. You can't fake it. Charging more than you believe you're worth will make you uncomfortable, and charging less than you believe you're worth will leave you feeling resentful. To create wealth, you must align your energy with the money you desire. Take 3 chiropractors as an example. One earns $50,000 a year. One earns $100,000 a year. One earns $1 million a year. Is the one earning $1 million that much more skilled than the one earning $50,000? Probably not. Comes down to a decision of worth. The $1 million chiropractor is operating at a $1 million frequency. That's what they believe they're worth, and that's what they charge and receive. Money is an exchange of energy between people. When you charge clients or demand a salary, you attract others who are already vibrating at that frequency. You're not forcing anyone to work with you. They're free to go elsewhere, but they choose you, and part of what you offer is the chance to meet at your frequency. Lowering your frequency out of fear serves no one. It only keeps you and everyone around you vibrating lower. If you want to offer free or discounted services to those in need, that's wonderful. You can create a charitable branch of your business, set up scholarships, or find other ways to sustain yourself while helping others. But if you exhaust yourself by working endless hours at a low rate because you're afraid to charge what you're worth, you'll ultimately help fewer people. You'll burn out, become irritable, and lose effectiveness. Aligning with your desired income takes some time to reflect. Where are you energetically with your current income? And where do you want to be? Get clear on the life you desire and determine what you need to earn to make it a reality. Then work to match your frequency to your desired income. If you're far from where you want to be, push yourself. Raise your prices. Seek higher paying jobs. Surround yourself with high-frequency people and experiences. Expand your skills and knowledge. Make a vision board. Envision the life you want and feel it in your bones. Raising your frequency is like building a muscle. It takes time, practice, and effort. But the more you align with your desired energy, the closer you'll get to manifesting the life you dream of. Fifth rule of wealth consciousness. Stay in shape to manifest your dream house, Olympic aspirations, or soulmate. You need to keep your frequency high and your belief in limitless possibility strong. Otherwise, you risk falling back into old patterns, whether it's your father's unhealthy relationship with money, your mother's fear of being visible, or your parents' mistrust of intimacy. One of the best ways to stay mighty about money is to immerse yourself in wealth consciousness. Read books on the subject constantly and repeatedly. My personal staples are Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. But there are plenty more out there. Find the ones that resonate with you and commit to reading them for at least 30 minutes a day. Surround yourself with inspiring, abundance-minded people, Those who don't think money is evil and who either already have it or are actively making it. Watch your thoughts and words. Make a conscious effort to strengthen your positive financial mindset every single day. Get real about how much you want to make and why. If you want to live your dream life, get specific. How much money will it take to make it happen? Do the research. If you're dreaming of building a house, find out exactly how much it will cost. If you want to travel, decide where you want to go and buy when, then calculate the expenses. If your vision includes dining out more, wearing designer clothes, or driving a luxury car, crunch the numbers. Break it down. How much money will you need per year? Per month? Per hour? The universe responds to details. It responds to energy. And it responds to badasses. There's a big difference between vaguely declaring, I want to make $1 million a year, and having crystal clear intentions, fierce desire, and hell-bent action towards specific goals. Make a list. Write down exactly what you want, how much it will cost, and, most importantly, why you want it. How will having it make you feel? You need to want it so badly that its manifestation becomes non-negotiable. Make it urgent. Have you ever noticed how, when rent is due in a week and you have no idea how you're going to pay it, you somehow figure it out? Maybe a forgotten check arrives in the mail. Or an unexpected freelance job comes through. Or you finally summon the nerve to ask someone for a loan, sell grandma's jewelry, or even set up a lemonade stand to compete with the kid down the block. Urgency pushes you into action mode. You stop wasting time whining and worrying because you're too busy making it happen. This is the power of clarity, urgency, no screwing around. The money you desire is already there. You just need to want it badly enough to stay on the path until you manifest it. Treat your dreams with the same urgency. It's one thing to hustle when your back is against the wall, when you have to come up with tuition or pay for an emergency tooth extraction. But it's another thing entirely to create self-imposed urgency that keeps you driving toward your dream life, even when the stakes aren't immediately life or death. Without that urgency, you risk slipping back into mediocrity, thinking, screw it. I'll just live next to a kennel full of barking dogs. A good pair of earplugs and some boarded windows will do the trick. This is about shifting from reaction mode to action mode. It's about ditching the victim mentality, letting circumstances control your life, and stepping into your superhero mindset, where you create a life so amazing that you wake up in disbelief it's even yours. Raise your bottom line. A great way to motivate yourself is to raise your personal financial baseline. Most of us only take massive leaps of faith when we have no other choice, when there's a fire to put out, like a huge bill that needs paying. But what if you decided to raise your bottom line before it became an emergency? For example, commit to always having at least $2,000 in your bank account. Make it non-negotiable. Refuse to let your balance dip below that number. The moment you get close to your baseline, you'll light a fire under yourself to generate income. Or commit to always donating 10% of your earnings to charity, no matter what. The point isn't just to change your income, it's to change you. It's about rewiring your mindset and being intentional about how you deal with, generate, and receive money. Stay in action mode to live the life you dream of. Treat your goals with urgency, clarity, and determination. Decide what you want, why you want it, and how much it will cost. Then commit to manifesting it, no matter how long it takes or what obstacles arise. Remember, the universe responds to clarity. The universe responds to energy. The universe responds to badasses. So be one. Envision yourself with this money by itself means nothing. It's the meaning we attach to it that inspires us to bring it into our lives. It's the feelings this money provides, freedom, joy, security, that fuel the drive to manifest it. To align with your financial goals, create a mantra. Be specific, vivid, and personal. For example, I see myself making $150,000 by December 31st by being an accountant and serving 30 new clients to the best of my ability. I am so grateful for this $150,000, which allows me to take my family on a vacation to Bali, renovate our kitchen, and donate money to build schools in Kenya. I see us in the jungle with my kids and wife, staying at our favorite hotel in Ubud. I feel the joy of giving my children this life-changing experience and seeing my wife so happy. I can see our new kitchen and how much joy it brings her. I imagine the faces of the children in Kenya as they write on the chalkboards in the schools we've helped build. I feel immense gratitude for making a difference in their lives. I'm so thankful for the awesome clients who happily pay me $100 an hour for my services. This money is mine. It is on its way to me now, and I am so grateful to see it in my bank account. Write a mantra that makes you feel invincible. Read it daily. See it. Feel it. Embody it. Yes, it may feel like a pain, but trust me, it works. Vague goals lead to vague results. If you want to knock it out of the park, you must know exactly what you're aiming for, and be so excited about it that you're almost annoying to yourself. Take hellbent for glory action. Do everything you can think of to manifest this money or lifestyle. If you own a business, create new programs, launch new products, or raise your prices. Sign bigger and better clients. Sell more to your existing clients. Leverage your time by working smarter, not harder. Pick up a part-time job. If you work for someone else, ask for a raise. Look for a higher-paying job. Pay attention to opportunities around you. Listen to conversations with fresh ears. Is there a new position you can propose? Take every humanly possible step to magnetize money to you. Then surrender to the universe. Stay open to unexpected opportunities. An inheritance. Someone paying you for your expertise. A brilliant idea you might normally dismiss. A chance encounter with someone who needs exactly what you offer. Remember, you are leaping into a new reality. It's not your job to figure out how it will happen. Your job is to clearly ask for what you want, take action, and allow the universe to deliver it in perfect timing. Trust the process. The timing is not yours to decide. The unexpected money, job, or client could arrive immediately, or it could take years. Your role is to keep doing everything in your power to manifest it while maintaining unshakable faith that the universe is working behind the scenes to deliver it in divine timing. Get mentoring. Surround yourself with people who know more than you. Read their books, attend their seminars, study their methods, and hire them if you can. Be on the lookout for the perfect coach, mentor, or resource. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Pay attention to what crosses your path and learn as much as possible. Love yourself and you'll have it all. Chapter 25. Remember to surrender. Surrender to what is. Say yes to life and see how life suddenly starts working for you, rather than against you. Eckhart Tolle, author, channeler, high priest of being present. Imagine yourself sitting by a window, gazing out at a beautiful spring garden. Birds, bees, and butterflies flutter around, filling the air with life. Suddenly, a magnificent butterfly catches your eye. Its stunning turquoise wings make your heart flutter, and its joyful flight makes your soul sing. The transformation it went through, from a worm to this creature of soaring beauty, fills you with awe. Overcome with desire, you leap up and sprint to your closet to grab your net. You rush outside, tiptoe through the tulips, and start chasing your beloved butterfly. Hours go by, but despite all your focus and determination, you only scare it away. It's only when you stop chasing so desperately, relax, breathe, and surrender your desire to the universe that the butterfly of your dreams calmly lands on your nose. The power of surrender. When you want something desperately and work tirelessly to get it, you may end up pushing it away instead. There comes a time when you must hand the job over to the universe. This doesn't mean giving up or stopping your efforts. It means letting go energetically, releasing your tight grip, and creating space for what you desire to come to you. It's about allowing, not forcing. It's about trusting that if what you want is aligned with your life's purpose, it will come, or something even better will take its place. It's about surrendering and allowing the universe to work its magic while having faith that your highest desires will manifest. Your faith must be stronger than your fear. Imagine hiring someone to clean your house so you can focus on the work you enjoy. You explain what needs to be done, show them where the broom is, and trust them with the task. If you constantly hover over them, grabbing the sponge out of their hands, they'll never get their work done, and you'll remain in overwhelm, unable to reap the benefits you hired them for in the first place. Surrendering is about handing the job over to the universe and letting it do its thing, knowing it's in good hands. Let go of control despite our best intentions. We often try to control our circumstances by using limiting beliefs and old patterns. We think we can do a better job of manifesting than the universe can. But that's fear-based thinking. Love-based thinking is about having faith, gratitude, and trusting that the universe will deliver. Imagine two people invite you to parties. The first person extends an invite with enthusiasm, knowing the party will be awesome whether you come or not. They're happy if you do, but they don't need you to attend for the party to be a success. The second person demands you attend, threatening that the party will fail if you don't show up. They manipulate, guilt trip, and control, acting as though their party's success hinges on your attendance. Both people can prepare the same way. Decorate, buy food, get drinks, hire entertainment. But the person who has surrendered and isn't desperate is far more likely to manifest their desired outcome, because they trust the process, they don't need to control it. Surrendering in your life is your party. You get to choose how you invite people, experiences, and things into it. If you're broke, it's not about working yourself to exhaustion and complaining about your situation. It's about showing up each day with a positive attitude, doing your best, and leaning back in trust, knowing that the universe is sending you new, lucrative opportunities. If you're single, it's not about obsessing over your loneliness or going on endless, forced dates. It's about keeping your desire strong, maintaining unwavering faith, and living your life joyfully. Trust that the person you seek is also seeking you, and the universe is conspiring to bring you together. Letting go of resistance. Doubt is resistance. Faith is surrender. Worry is resistance. Joy is surrender. Control is resistance. Allowing is surrender. Ridicule is resistance. Believing is surrender. Energy must flow or it stagnates. Surrendering puts you in the flow. The miracles of surrender. Surrender doesn't just create space to manifest your desires. It opens you up to miracles. When you move into new, uncharted territory in your life, you can't expect to know exactly how to get there. You may not even be able to fully imagine what that new reality will look like. It's only by surrendering to the process that you allow the universe to reveal a new path you couldn't have foreseen. Sometimes your new reality will match your vision, but often it will exceed it in ways you can't even imagine. How to surrender. Here's how to surrender. 1. Get crystal clear on what you want to manifest. 2. See it, feel it, taste it, fall in love with it, and believe it's already here. 3. Decide you will have it. 4. Inform the universe of your intention by acting and thinking as if you already have it. 5. Meditate, connect with infinite possibilities, and tap into source energy. 6. Take joyful, passionate action. 7. Be grateful that it's already yours. 8. Breathe, let it go, and let it in. When you truly believe that everything you desire already exists, you're in a natural state of surrender. Surrender. The freefall. Surrender is like free-falling backwards into the unknown, trusting that the universe will catch you. This can't be done from a place of lack or mistrust. You have to let go fully, have faith, and be grateful even as you wait. And while you're waiting, love yourself, and the motherlode shall bestow her magic upon you. Chapter 26. Doing versus spewing. God will not have his work made manifest by cowards. Ralph Waldo Emerson, fearless writer-poet, highly skilled spewer and doer. I have a friend who had the word "duh" tattooed on the inside of her upper arm as a reminder of how many of life's big epiphanies are no-brainers. Fear is a choice. I am lovable. Don't worry, be happy. You've heard these truisms a million times, but when they finally sink in, when you really get it, they suddenly feel like earth-shattering news. An epiphany is a visceral understanding of something you already knew. Once that knowledge moves from your brain to your bones, that's when you can use it to change your life. But the million-dollar question is, will you? The problem with spewing. So many people spend years talking the talk. They roll out the shoulds and coulds, attend seminars, buy shelf-help books, and drown themselves in self-help content. Yet they do nothing with it. Here's a statistic for you. Only 5% of people who sign up for a course or seminar actually do anything with it. And this includes high-priced seminars, not just the community college classes. People want change, they're willing to invest time and money, but they aren't willing to get uncomfortable enough to make it happen. They don't want it as badly as they say they do. I tried is the poor man's version of I kicked butt. Successful people are willing to get uncomfortable. They understand that the discomfort is part of the journey. They don't shrink from challenges. They keep moving through them. And they don't stop once they hit a breakthrough. If you rest on your laurels and expect success to continue without any effort, you'll lose that momentum. The muscle of kickassery, just like any muscle, the muscle of kickassery needs to be used or it will shrink. Breakthroughs don't last forever if you stop working them. If you get one big win and think, I've got this, then sit back and wait for your success to flow in. You'll lose that strength and slide back into comfort. Keep moving. Keep growing. Keep pushing through obstacles. Every time you break through one level, you hit the next. The more you push through, the more you evolve. New level, new devil. Life is growth or decline. Life is either about moving forward and evolving, or shrinking back and dying. If you want to evolve in your life, you've got to push through the obstacles, not run from them. Obstacles are the agents of growth. Nobody gets to be large and in charge without facing challenges. Birth is messy, painful, scary, and uncertain. But birth is also a miracle. If you want that new life you dream of, you have to do the work. It's not about just studying or wishing, it's about acting. A personal wake-up call. I had a wake-up call in this area recently. At the moment, I don't have a permanent place to call home. 2 years ago, I decided to sell my stuff and travel the world. I run my business from wherever I have a computer, a good internet connection, and a sandwich. It was my chance to live life on my own terms and really practice what I preach about being in flow and trusting the universe. But even though I was preaching decision and letting go, I still needed to do instead of just spew. The universe will guide you. Surrendering to the universe is a big part of my current journey, especially when it comes to figuring out where I'm going next and where I'll stay. I trust that the universe will guide me to the perfect place at the perfect time. I've had incredible experiences so far, like ending up in Tokyo, falling in love with the city, and finding a perfect apartment when I needed it. But this last leg of my journey, where I needed to find a place to write my book, tested my faith. I wanted to land somewhere inspiring, somewhere that would spark my creativity. But when I tried to plan everything, things weren't falling into place. I was getting nervous, feeling like I might have to settle for something less than ideal. Keep the faith, even when it's hard. Then I realized, what kind of hypocrite would I be if I panicked and shrank in fear when I've been preaching the importance of keeping faith? So I decided to trust. I focused on my ideal writing space, felt the energy of the perfect place, and held my vision. I sent one last email asking if anyone knew of a great spot for me to write my book. Then I surrendered it to the universe. The next day, I received an email from a friend who had a place for me to move into right away. I'm now writing in a luxurious house with beautiful views, exactly as I imagined. This shit works. Quantum leaps and surrender. How serious are you about not settling? You can change your life in an instant. You can increase your income, lose weight, find joy, and upgrade your entire reality. All you have to do is decide you want it. Let the universe work for you. Step into your life fully, knowing that whatever you want is available to you, right now. 1. Give your bad habits the heave-ho. Successful people have good habits. Unsuccessful people have losery habits. Habits are the things we do automatically without thinking, and they define who we are. If you're in the habit of working out every morning, you're in shape. If you're in the habit of never following through, you're unreliable. If you're in the habit of getting massages 3 times a week, you're living the dream. Pay attention to the areas of your life that aren't working, and figure out which bad habits helped create them. Then trade those habits for good ones. Think about what successful people do: good time management, healthy eating, smart decision-making, and start making those behaviors your habits. How do you form a new habit? Simple. Decide to make it a regular part of your daily routine. Schedule it. Make it as automatic as brushing your teeth or getting out of bed. If it's something you've struggled with, get some help. Hire a coach, a mentor, or even a friend who'll hold you accountable. Successful people form successful habits, so get started on yours. 2. Breathe amongst the people. Your superhero power, your connection to source energy, is available to you 24/7. It's not just when you're meditating or sitting cross-legged in your robe. Once you train your brain to tune into source energy, you can access it all day long. The purpose of everything you've learned in this book is to improve your life, not just to read it and put it aside. You want to carry the life-enhancing benefits with you throughout your day. And the best way to do this is through your breath. When you're stuck in traffic, stressed at work, or feeling awkward at a party, take a moment to breathe deeply, clear your mind, and reconnect with source energy. The more you make this a habit, the more you'll see positive changes in your life, emotionally and physically. And the next time someone irritates you at a restaurant, you'll handle it with grace. 3. Hang high. Surround yourself with people who are kicking ass and making you feel like a giant loser if you're not doing the same. It's that simple. Who you spend your time with greatly affects how you see yourself and the bar you set for yourself. If you hang out with people who constantly whine about their problems, you'll feel like a hero just for getting out of bed. But if you surround yourself with people who are living on purpose, who meet challenges with a step-aside, sucker's attitude, who are living the life you want to live, it will inspire you to follow suit. 4. Set honest goals. Don't set yourself up for failure by setting unrealistic goals. If you're not yet running 5 miles a day, don't start by aiming for 10. Begin with a smaller, achievable goal like running half a mile and build from there. Discipline is a muscle, you have to build it gradually. Set honest goals that challenge you but are just outside your comfort zone. As you grow, you'll build momentum, and soon those big goals won't feel so big anymore. 5. Read your manifesto. Write down your goals and your vision of your ideal life as though it's already happening. Be specific. Where do you live? Who do you live with? What are you doing for fun? What kind of money are you making and how do you give back? Make it so vivid and amazing that you can't help but get emotional every time you read it. Read your manifesto every day, morning and night. Become obsessed with it. Let it fuel you with giddy expectation. The more you focus on the life you're creating, the faster you'll manifest it. 6. Get out your credit card and pay for some help. Already coaching or mentoring is one of the best things you can do to make massive change in a short amount of time. Professional athletes don't stop training once they make it big. They continue working with coaches to stay at their peak. If you've been struggling on your own, it's time to get help. Invest in your growth and watch how quickly things start to shift. 7. Get your body in on it. Your mind follows where your body leads. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and watch your mood improve. When you're in good shape and energized, you feel unstoppable. If you want to get serious about your goals, get your body moving. Get the blood flowing, eat nourishing food, and practice deep breathing. Your mind, body, and soul are all powerful allies when they work together. Advanced body option. Want to really pump yourself up? Pound your chest, punch your fists in the air, and repeat your affirmations. Get your body engaged to anchor in those words. This physical movement boosts the power of your affirmations, making them even more impactful. 8. Use your secret weapons. Create a playlist of songs that get you pumped up. Listen to motivational tapes. Surround yourself with pictures of people who inspire you. Wear clothes that make you feel powerful, and dance like nobody's watching. Whatever makes you feel like a superhero, do it. Stay in the zone and keep the energy high. You're going for the gold. 9. Love yourself with a kung fu grip. Chapter 27. Beam me up, Scotty. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Audrey Hepburn. Actress, icon, fabulous. My grandmother on my mother's side lived to be 100 years old. Nana was as waspy as they come, prissy, reserved, and able to avoid confrontation with the precision of an F-16 pilot. For as long as I can remember, she always looked the same. Eternally adorned in a cardigan, pinned at the top with an antique brooch, her pink lipstick and sparkly brown eyes shining through a face full of wrinkles that erupted in a series of oh dears every time she laughed. In her long lifetime, Nana witnessed incredible achievements: the birth of the phone, the car, TV, human flight, computers, the internet, and rock and roll. But the two things that truly blew her mind were putting a man on the moon and the soda dispensers at McDonald's. She'd stand there, gripping her cup, watching in disbelief as an employee placed it beneath the spout, pushed a button, and walked away, letting the machine fill it up perfectly. How does it know where to stop? Nana would shake her head in amazement. How does it know? After we cloned a sheep, she pretty much gave up on questioning anything else. One day, my family took her out for lunch at a restaurant on the top floor of a huge hotel. We got in the elevator, and someone accidentally pushed the button for the floor we were already on. The doors opened immediately. Nana, thinking we just traveled 45 floors in a split second, stepped out of the elevator, nervously patting her hair as she wandered down the hallway muttering to herself, "Why not? Believe in the possibility. I want to sign off by encouraging you to pursue your dreams with the same belief that anything is possible." As a little old lady in knee-high stockings and sensible heels, born in 1903, who lived through the most technologically flabbergasting century to date. Whatever you desire to do with your precious life, whether it's writing jokes, rocking out, starting a business, learning Greek, quitting your job, raising kids, falling in love, losing weight, opening orphanages, directing movies, saving dolphins, making millions, or living in a canyon wearing a loincloth, believe it's possible. And believe that it's available to you. Believe that you deserve to do, be, or have it. Why not? Give yourself the permission and the means to be who you are, regardless of what anyone else thinks or believes is possible. Don't deny yourself the life you want because you're worried you're not good enough, that you'll be judged, or that it's too risky, because who does that benefit? No one. When you live your life doing the things that excite you, that you're good at, that bring you joy, you walk around so lit up that you can't help but shoot sunbeams out of your eyeballs. And that automatically lights up the world around you. You are here to shine. You are here to shine your biggest ball of fire onto this world. A world that literally depends on light to survive. You are powerful. You are loved. You are surrounded by miracles. Believe, really believe that what you desire is here and available to you. You can have it all. Love yourself. You are a badass. As you wrap up this journey through the pages, remember that what you've learned isn't just about reading a book. It's about living the life you deserve. You've been given the tools to shift your mindset, ignite your inner power, and step into a world where anything is possible. The stories, the lessons, the aha moments, they are all meant to push you to take action, to stop waiting for a perfect moment, and to start creating the one you've always dreamed of. You have everything within you to make incredible things happen. Whether you're ready to make a bold change, break free from your old patterns, or simply step into your fullest potential, now is the time. Don't just talk about your dreams. Do them. Let this book be your reminder to live boldly, to embrace discomfort as a stepping stone to growth, and to always believe that the impossible is just the start of something new. The world is waiting for you to shine. So go ahead. Be the badass you were meant to be. Now that you've got the knowledge, the real work begins. And I have no doubt, with the right mindset and the courage to act, you'll make it all happen. So take a deep breath, feel the power within, and go show the world just how amazing you are.
Thank you for joining me on this journey through the book. If you enjoyed this book and want to hear more, consider subscribing to stay updated on future audiobooks. And if there's a specific book you'd love to hear next, let us know in the comments. We'd love to bring it to life for you. Until next time, take care, keep moving forward, and remember that courage is 5 seconds away. See you soon.